Hey, we are live on Lorebeards 40,000. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hi, hello.
And we have a cool special guest with us today, Remleys.
Hello. So when you said cool special guest, I was thinking, who's that? It ain't me.
So we should always try to start off these episodes by introducing ourselves, who we are, what we're doing. I think it would be wise for us to start with our cool special guest.
Oh, you mean me? Oh bloody hell.
You.
Okay, in which case, hello everyone. This is Remleys from 40k Theories. I currently finished off editing a video today in regards to the Godmaker. So you can expect that sometime soon. For those who don't know, I do a lot of videos regarding 40k Theories, obviously, but also Lore for Newcomers, a podcast which Alexis used to be on back in the day.
Yep.
So this is kind of a reunion special for us at this point as well.
Yeah.
And just general all around making people annoyed from my debunking of certain fandom misconceptions. Like when people say Tyberos is the biggest space marine ever, it's like, no.
I will never understand that one. It bugs the hell out of me because everyone's like, he's like 15 foot tall. And I'm like, bro is 9 foot tall. He's slightly taller than a Terminator.
The novel Outer Dark says he's a head taller.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. So a question for Remleys, actually, we did an episode on the Minotaurs not that long ago. If you were to stack up Tyberos and Assyrian Moloch in the same room, who's bigger?
So that's hard to determine because Asterion Moloch is, obviously he's augmented with cybernetics now, isn't he? Because of all the injuries he suffered. Was it during the what was it called? Is it not Ophelia? Is it Ophelia?
Yeah, it's Orpheus. Orpheus,
that's the one. I was going to say Ophelia. I was like, that's not right. Yeah, Orpheus. And obviously they're both in Terminator armor. It's going to be a very close call, I reckon, between the two.
It's going to come down to the tape measure.
Probably, yeah.
That's funny. One of our theories was that that Asterion Moloch might actually be a Thunder Warrior.
Yeah, I've heard that one a few times as well. Because I don't know if you're too familiar with Endred Ha.
Very familiar. Very familiar.
Yeah. Because there is a lot of evidence for him to be a Thunder Warrior as well.
Possibly, although the joke with Assyrian Moloch is that he might have been a perpetual and a Thunder Warrior, which would explain how he keeps coming back from the dead. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Assyrian Moloch, although he's a great character, really interesting. We're here to talk about creating an advisor. But before we get to that, North Queen Alexis, who are you?
I'm a Viking reenactor, a Warhammer enthusiast, and I just painted up 40 Imperial Guardsmen in 2 days.
Nice.
I am tired, is what I am.
What regiment?
Cadians.
Boo. The boring ones.
That's what I said, but it's not my army. It's a commission.
Oh, fair enough.
So, because I tried to convince him to let me do Salvar Chem Dogs, and he's like, how would I do that? I'm like, Orlocks. Not Orlocks. Orlocks.
Yeah, Orlocks.
The biker gang would be perfect for them. And he's like, no, I don't know about them, but I like the Cadians. And I'm like, you basic bitch.
Okay, I'm a man of a certain age, and I was working at Games Workshop back in 2004, 2003, whenever the Cadians first came out in plastic. And let's just say I have fond memories of that time because the Cadians were like amazing, and they were the newest plastic kit, and they were replacing all these metal Praetorians and a Talarn and Mordians that we'd had up to that point. So it was them and Catachans, the only ones in plastic for basically forever. It feels like now it's 24 years
since
later.
Third edition.
Those poor Catachans are still on the shelf.
So who am I? I am Ross Watson. I am a game designer and author. I literally wrote the book on Rogue Traders and the Death Watch as part of my journey through Warhammer 40,000 roleplay. I've written for a whole bunch of Warhammer 40k video games, and I was on the US White Dwarf team for a couple of years. So that's how I know my 40k. And today we're going to talk about how to let's build an advisor for Total War Warhammer 40k, which is going to be a little awkward because of the three of us here, I think I'm the only one who plays Total War Warhammer.
Yes.
I tried playing the first one years ago back on my potato laptop, and it was like running single frames. So it's like, I can't play this.
Oh my god.
Excuse me.
Well, we have a couple of big super chats right off the bat. We should probably read those.
I just never bought the game. That was my problem. It was a Warhammer fantasy game, and I was like, this is cool. I'll wait until it's finished.
Guess what? It's still not finished.
I know.
All right, we got a super chat from Necro Player. Wow, big old super chat. Thank you so much, sir. He says, it's going to be interesting to see how y'all make a character who is familiar with the battle tactics, infrastructure, and culture of every faction in 40k. I know what you mean. And has enough of a silver tongue to not be murdered instantly. That is the challenge. That is the challenge.
The easiest one that we could pick is the Changeling.
I mean, that's compelling, actually. Or a Calidus assassin with polymorphine.
I have an idea. A Shard of the Deceiver.
Oh,
yeah, that would work.
Even better. Yeah.
God, I need Ross to finish Rogue Trader so we can talk about the ending.
We got another one from Necro Player. Also, massive shout out to the new Kane model announcement on the same day y'all decided to stream. Talk about coincidence. Yes, the new Caiaphas Kane model with Jurgen. Alexis showed it to me, and we were both like, must have.
Mm-hmm. And I love that they made him ugly. They didn't make him like that beautiful stoic thing that you see on like the posters and everything. They actually made him like scruffy looking.
You mean Jurgen?
No, I mean
Kane.
Because Kane is not as clean shaven, and he has like a bolt pistol on the covers.
Oh no, this is accurate Kane because he's got a chainsword and a las pistol.
Yeah, but like I saw Kane's face, and my immediate thought was like, this looks like General Shade from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
I thought it looked like Bilbo Baggins for some reason. I don't know.
It's the sideburns. It's the mutton shops. Yeah, it's the mutton shops. Yeah.
And we got one more from Biofoot7874 says, 2 requirements, gills and triple titty. Biofoot is our local fishman enthusiast.
In all fairness, it could also be the mask.
What do you mean?
Ooh,
the mask of Slanesh. Yeah.
Yeah, because the mask in 40k is, well, as far as characters in 40k, because I don't know their AOS or Old World equivalent, but the mask in 40k can change their entire body and everything with just a flip of their mask. It's actually how they slipped past the salamanders. And then when the salamanders rescued all those people from the Grey Knights, which the Grey Knights were after the mask at the time, she then sacrificed a whole system to Slanesh. Oopsie daisy, our bad salamanders.
Well, we have some options in front of us that I think we need to narrow down a little bit. And I would say up front, I think it's probably not a good idea to make it a named character, because often named characters in Total War end up as either legendary lords or legendary heroes that you can actually field on the battlefield. And the advisor just isn't that character. Until the advisor is revealed as a greater demon, he is not actually on the battlefield doing anything. So I think my first suggestion to all three of us is that we focus on things that don't have like the mask or the changeling, although they would be perfectly viable. I think I would prefer. Yeah, oh, God damn it. I think I would prefer if we pick some, I'm not going to say generic, but not a named character.
Ross, it's me and you. There are only 2 inevitable conclusions in every one of our episodes.
The War in
Heaven.
Heaven.
Either the War in Heaven or Be'lakor.
Or Be'lakor. Yeah, seems like it. Seems like it always goes back to those two.
The Warp did it as a callback.
The Wizard did it. Yeah, that's another good one. So I'm gonna throw out a few ideas here and see what you guys think. But I think one possibility for a character who can speak to a lot of different factions, nearly all factions, is in fact a rogue trader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We did get hang on. I want to make sure we catch this one because this is I think this is 500 bits. I think this is a Twitch donation.
Dinoman says, thank you, Ross. I was about to point that out about named characters. Saved me 500 bits.
Okay, so he didn't donate the bits.
No.
But I thought he did, so I grabbed it so you guys know I'm vigilant.
I appreciate that. I do. So Rogue Trader is one possibility, and I think all three of us are going to be. Do you have a thumbs up that a Rogue Trader could be a good option?
I think it could be a good option if, but it does depend on what type of leader the Orc is. Like, if it's a Blood Axe or a Freebooter, absolutely that'll be fine. But I can't really imagine a Rogue Trader being too chummy with, like, say, a Goth War Boss, for instance.
True, but I think at least he's got something to offer to even the most belligerent Orc. Would be.
Here it is. I found the donation.
This is a super chat. This is an actual super chat. Dynaman says, as a mad suggestion for the advisor, what about a servitor that malfunctions occasionally by having delusions that are actually in a video game?
That's amazing.
So another possibility would be some sort of Adeptus Mechanicus character that is eccentric enough, like Call, for example, is pretty eccentric, and could potentially have conversations with all four factions.
Trazyn the Infinite is another one that could have conversations with every faction.
Yeah, Necron Cryptek would be a really good option, I think, as well. Because a Cryptek, sufficiently advanced technology, can hide you in the form of someone else. In fact, Trazyn and Orican do this in the novel The Infinite and the Divine. They hide themselves under like a holographic mask. So it is doable.
And then they watch it play together.
They do. They watch it play. It's great.
There was also one that did it in the novel Sons of the Hydra as well, like who's like kind of advising an Alpha Legion warband.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. It could be an Alpha Legionnaire.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be. I resist that because it's
for the memes.
Tzeentch and the Alpha Legion are like the easiest answer to any like mystery. Oh, the Alpha Legion, or it's Tzeentch. So I want to avoid like the tropey bits, but
there is a good suggestion here. Whoop, not the one I wanted. God dang it! I clicked the wrong one twice.
Spiritfire 703 says a Man of Iron, perhaps. Maybe.
I think it's UR 749, the Imperial robot.
Right.
Would be a really good one. Like the whole time it's like trying to tell you dialogue. The orcs are like hitting it with a wrench to get it to talk. And then every now and then it's having like a moment of just, I'm going to murder all of you.
Yeah, some form of abominable intelligence would be a really interesting one. But I'm also going to throw out there a Harlequin would be a interesting option that can speak to most factions, maybe if not all.
A Harlequin could definitely work.
Yeah. Another possibility. Go for something a bit more less obvious. A Lacrimol.
Yeah, they do.
Because they're shape-shifting aliens as well. So.
Interesting.
As a deep cut for like
no, that's
really steep in their 40k history and all that.
No, deep cuts is what we're all about. This is absolutely the channel for the deep cuts. I am here for it. I am absolutely here for it. There's there's one I created for Dark Heresy that was called the Simulacra. That would also be good for shape-shifting aliens.
Oh my god, a Zote could be cool too.
A Zote. Space Marines probably wouldn't speak to a Zote typically, but I guess it could happen.
They put a sheet over it.
It's got holes. It's got holes in the sheet for its eyes.
What about a squat?
A kin.
A kin could very much work because the Imperium does listen to the kin.
Can listen.
Yeah,
and they have been known to trade with the Eldari and even the Orcs.
Yeah, a kin would be a really good choice, actually.
Scutari
Boy says.
Go ahead.
No.
They pawn their garbage off to the Tau, which I still think is one of my favorite things ever. Yeah, these ion cannons, they suck. We made smaller versions of them that we just carry around. Yeah, you can take the big ones.
Scutari Boy says, highly suspicious but useful tech priest who is totally not both a Xenorite for the Xenos and secret chaos cultist for the future chaos factions. Yeah, this is kind of where I was going with the idea of like some sort of abominable intelligence or a, tech priest who's secretly not what he appears to be would be a really good option. But we have to narrow these down to 4. We have to narrow down to 4 possibilities. What are we thinking? Oh, Dynaman, another super
It's
chat.
the monkeys.
Another off the wall idea: Jokero, return to monkey.
Return to monkey.
We are Jokero enthusiasts, but we are not. I don't think we're ready
I
for
just
that.
want to know what they did in the War in Heaven.
I guess you could say you're going ape for Chikero.
Woohoo!
No, but like, what the hell did they do in the War in Heaven? Because like we know the orcs did like melee and had really highly advanced technology. The Eldar had their Wraithbone and they were throwing like magical storms around the galaxy. And then
there might be an actual answer for that. They might have been the one responsible for building the Blackstone fortresses.
The Jokero might have been. Yes, that's an absolute possibility.
Because there is some actual similarities between their craft and the newest Blackstone Fortress in the Blackstone Fortress game manual. It does actually mention it.
Monkey.
Yeah, geez, you're just such a big fan of the Jokero. It makes perfect sense. Oh, Byfoot gives us a bribe for a Fishman option.
So it's a Hardween.
So I should point out that super chats are the absolute best way to support both the channel and this particular show and its hosts. So we are very, very grateful to everybody who sends in a super chat. Byfoot, I love you, buddy. I don't know if we could add a Fishman.
It has to be a bigger bribe.
Yeah, I think it has to be a bigger bribe. Sorry, we have to put up 4 possibilities for the chat, and let's see. I think our first one was a rogue trader, and then we had. I think we all agreed that the Votan Kin was a really good idea.
Yeah, I like the Votan Kin.
Did we agree that Harlequin was a good idea? And then the Mechanicus / robot / abominable intelligence, is that the final one, or do we want to brainstorm a little bit more?
No, I think that works.
Gremlins?
I mean,
so we got Kin, we got Harlequin, we got, what was the other ones again?
Here, I will help you out because
Rogue Trader, wasn't it?
I need to share my screen anyway because we are going to be putting this up onto the screen for everybody to see. This is currently where we're at.
It's so small.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Sorry. There we go.
Doth what she proclaimed.
that is what she proclaimed, indeed. So these are our current 4. Do we want to replace any of these, or are we good with this list?
I personally would replace Mechanicus with a Cryptek.
Yeah, the Necron Cryptek is a better idea. I agree. What do you think, Alexis?
Now we got a nice little selection of different races as well. You got like, human, abhuman, and 2 flavors of Xenos.
Yeah, no, I like this. We do have a there we go. We both clicked on it.
Remley's, I don't want to be that guy, but technically Votan are not Xenos. They are abhumans.
No, but I said 2 flavors of Xenos with Harlequins and the Cryptek.
Oh, that's true. The
Kim was the abhuman I mentioned.
You're right about that. Squid Tugboat. What a great name. Squid Tugboat. Long shot, but what about a Tau Diplomat? Absolutely would not fly with the Imperial forces, unfortunately.
Yeah, they tend to crush their heads.
The orcs would probably not be down with it at all. The only ones that might be okay with it would be Eldar, and even then, I really don't see it.
Yeah, the Eldar view the Tau as children.
Well, the Eldar view everybody as beneath them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but they have, for some reason, Warhammer Plus went really hard on this. Tau don't even view. Sorry, the Eldar don't even view the Tau as a challenge. They view them as a pest, a child throwing a tantrum. And
Get
I
off
think
my lawn.
I think that is perfect.
All right, so I am going to put up a poll then. If we're good with this being our first options, like what is it?
Yeah, no, I like it.
Advisor. That, yeah. All right, I'm going to put that poll up. Why don't you guys do me a favor and talk about like how pick one of these and discuss why it would be a good option.
So Rogue Trader is an easy choice. Like the Rogue Traders are your space desperados, your cowboys in space, your explorers, ones that don't truly follow the Imperial Creed all too much, but they believe it enough. So it makes sense that they would broker deals with everybody, including Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
All right, poll is up and running, so please go vote.
And as I said, I think a Kim would be a great option just because they have like relationships with pretty much every major faction in 40k, with the exception of Chaos, really, to be honest. I know you get some rogue squads out there, but like again, they're on more or less friendly terms with the Imperium, more or less, which is rare for pretty much anything that's not a baseline human. They've trade with the Eldari, they trade with the Orcs, even though that did lead to a war at one point. But it's just, I think it's a good option because like you've actually got an excuse to actually interact with everyone, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Well, orcs fight everyone at some point or another. So yeah, that's perfectly legit.
Yeah. Dynaman, the poll is up on YouTube only. Sorry about that.
Yeah, apologies. These polls only work on YouTube. Dynaman says they tend to crush their heads. Flashback to the Cato Sicarius quote. Yes.
Yep. Weirdly enough, it's happened twice.
Dynaman, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, buddy. We are not anti-Twitch over here. I don't know how to do it on Twitch. I only know how to do it on YouTube.
My left headphone died.
Another super chat from Skatari Boy says, "Aren't these Xenos bad options for Chaos factions?" No, not necessarily. Actually, if you look at the Red Corsairs and here on Blackheart, he works very closely with different Xeno species. Mm-hmm. So
I think his new model actually had like a Turellian come out as well, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Oh my god, I want to get that model so badly.
And a Barghese.
Everybody is grabbing it before I can get my hands on it because it's really good in tournament play right now.
Thank you for the super chat, Katari Boy. And good question. But yeah, the answer is that Chaos is not necessarily anti-Xenos. And typically less anti-Xenos than the actual Imperial side of things. So, all right. We have let's give another 30 seconds and then we'll close that poll. But so far we have, I think, some pretty interesting options here. The Cryptek, of course, super cool. Necrons, after reading Infinite and the Divine, I'm like, yes, please, more of them. The Votan makes perfect sense. The Harlequin is, that one makes me tilt my head a little bit, but they can speak to nearly everyone. And you could argue that a Chaos Warlord would at least hear out a Harlequin. Though that's definitely the weakest, I think.
I think that actually did happen at one point in one of the Fabius Bile books, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. I read the Guy Haley ones.
No, the Josh Reynolds ones.
The Josh. Okay, I haven't read the Josh Reynolds one. Okay.
Yeah. They're really good. You should. They're good books.
All right, we are going to end that poll and see what the chat says. Chat says Harlequin is the right answer. So we are going with, although it's a little weird, we're going with the Harlequin. And I am fine with that. All right, so now we need to talk about like how visible. Oh, wait, Zero Daimu. Love that avatar, Zero Daimu. He says, Chaos squat with authentic evil egg design.
I feel like GW is not brave enough to do this right now. Because in the lore currently, Votan can't get corrupted by Chaos. I assume their bodies can be corrupted by Chaos, but they're resistant to Chaos. Like they're heavily resistant to Chaos because their souls are so dim.
Wasn't there a thing in the recent White Dwarf though, which did have a bunch of kin get corrupted though? Or am I misremembering? They
did, but White Dwarf lore, and if it's not like in this sacred codexes, it's like, yeah, that could happen kind of deal.
I think it's a little unfair considering the current state of codices where there's bugger all in them to begin with.
I fully agree with that. Like, granted, there is no point to buying a codex anymore, and I wish GW would just do away with them, to be honest. I would much rather pay a monthly subscription. No, just a subscription per codex. Just like, hey, for $20 a month, you unlock every single thing on our app, and our app can track your tournament records and all of your other stuff, and it has all the lore and everything on it. I would be down for that. I don't want to collect codexes anymore. They take up too much room, and they're obsolete almost a week after they come out.
Oh, we got another. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's even worse than that because do you remember the Custodes Codex that was obsolete before it even went on sale?
Yep, or the AdMech one.
Lord Vorn says
one.
Sorry, Lord Vorn says it's worth keeping in mind that the modern iteration of the Advisor in Total War terms does not interact as such with the factions, but just acts as the narrator. I will push back a little bit on that, Lord Vorn. The advisor in Total War Warhammer speaks directly to you, the player, who is in the role of the legendary lord that you are, in fact, leading. And the advisor will often even mention lore-specific things for your specific faction when you start the game. So he is not interacting with the faction so much as he's interacting with the player who is the head of the faction, that particular group. So I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I think we both are correct. It's just a interesting point there, but I do appreciate the super chat. And Necro Player, for everyone to keep in mind that the advisor is helping the chosen faction completely conquer the galaxy to the detriment of the rest. So why? I think he's asking why not? What's the reason for
I think with a Harlequin that'd be the easiest answer because they're just doing it just so they can avert the doom of the Eldari. Essentially, Harlequin's the easiest one to justify an answer with.
Schemes of fate.
Yeah, exactly. You could probably do something similar with the Necron Cryptek as well, saying, "Oh, we need to do this." So it's a minor victory for this faction, but in the long run, it's going to be a Necron victory.
Yeah, like they're just trying to recapture, like the Necrons themselves are trying to recapture Necron pylon networks, and you just happen to be the best idiot to do that, and it sacrifices none of the irreplaceable Necrons. The Votan would be probably the hardest, but they could be settling old grudges because the Votan do have the Book of Grudges. They actually have the great supercomputer of grudges, which is even better.
Yeah, the Votan themselves, right? Those are the ancients, possibly corrupted AIs. And I don't mean chaos corrupted. I mean just like
defrag us, please.
Please defrag us. Yes.
You have 700 tabs open. Close one.
All right, so I'm going to ask the next question, and I'm already ready. Oh.
I'm trying to spot these as quickly as I can.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Dynaman says, an idea for how the Harlequin gets the trust of the various lords and how they know all about them. Knowledge from the Black Library. Yes, that's an excellent way to do that. Although, just to be clear, Black Library is mostly information on chaos and how to deal with it. Not necessarily. I don't know how many books there are in the Black Library on, for example, the Harlequins. But not the Harlequins, the Votan.
6 billion cooking recipes.
There's plenty of books on the Necrons in the Black Library. I'm sure that's true.
There's probably a couple of books on the monkeys.
I don't know. Remleys, what do you think?
I think that could be a really good one, like a good motivating factor for, like, say, the Space Marine faction. Like if you're playing as Ultramarines, we help you. We can give this knowledge on how to fight against chaos because you just had to deal with the Plague Wars recently, didn't you? So it might be useful. You might want it. Ooh.
The Plague Wars, the 500 Worlds campaign, and the Pariah Nexus. Yeah, the Ultramarines are losing numbers right now. Also, the Ultramarines are one of the few Space Marine chapters that would be willing to listen to the Eldar because of Rabute Gilliman having Eldari advisors and the booty call of Yvrain.
Right. I was going to say we also ship Yvrain and Big Bobby G. So.
Well, do you remember, Alexis? Gavthorpe did confirm it was canon.
Yeah, I know.
Woo!
I know. I got him on that one.
Got a super chat from Stephen Lucas. Wish Sus and Membrane used more in lore. Marine, more reusable as the Emperor intended for his investment. Less one-shot, one-kill. Requires double tap for more grisly ends. Lame 16th insta-kill by wood caveman spear to throat. Don't follow up after. I don't fully understand that. But can you interpret that, Alexis?
My dyslexia is having an aneurysm.
The Emperor killed Horus by stabbing him with the Anathame shard, which was basically a piece of like a caveman blade or something.
Ah, okay, that's where he's going with that. The 16th being the
Horus's Legion,
the Sons of Horus, yeah,
or
the Lunar Wolves if you're cool,
or the Black Legion if you're even cooler. Reborn in black and gold, baby.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much, Stephen Lucas. Appreciate that. That's a good point. And Sustain Memory should be used more. I agree with that. All right. So the question we're about to ask on the poll is following: how visible is the advisor to others? And the options are for this one going to be based around like, is he physically present in the war councils? Is he there? Is he known by his rank and face? Or does he appear only as like a Vox or hololithic presence? His identity unclear. Kind of like the Emperor in the original Empire Strikes Back, you know, as this holographic figure.
I just imagined the actual God Emperor just appearing. Hi.
There's also, he could be an anonymous source. Just all of his stuff is sent through sealed orders or directives from afar.
It could be, if we're going for the Harlequin, you could just have him just like, you know, just pop out of nowhere. It's like, hi, you should do this. Bye.
Yeah, Harlequins do be doing that.
Can do that. And the other option is they could actually hide their real influence by pretending to be a subordinate or a minor staffer.
Lieutenant.
5 foot says,
Very
keep him in a
graceful,
fish tank. Please repeat, Remleys. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
So you're very tall and very graceful, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out that all of our options that we chose could be any gender.
True.
I find that really, really fascinating. Cryptechs are typically women in the Necron Society. I also found that out recently, and I really like that lore. And it's all about that chin, baby. That's how you can tell.
Stephen Lucas says, no, actual caveman stabbed a lunar wolf in the throat. Actual caveman being the Emperor, I think. And lunar wolf being Horus, I think.
Or is he actually saying a caveman, like a literal caveman?
If he is, I'm not catching that one. If he did. Sorry.
Let's keep in mind that one Galv lore back in early stages of the lore for Horus Heresy took out 7 custodians. That was back before the custodians were the custodians of today, and they were in that intermediate period where they were like still half naked, but also golden boys.
Super Urlock gives us a super chat and says, missed the intro. Who's the guest?
Me, for some reason.
Remleys, can you briefly for Super Urlock, can you briefly repeat who you are?
Yes, hello. This is Remleys from 40k Theories, a YouTube channel that does a bunch of lore videos, theory crafting, and a podcast and some other stuff. Yeah. Also, if you like pro wrestling, we had Samoa Joe on the podcast at one point, so yeah.
What the hell?
Big brag. Yeah.
That's
Shortly after
amazing.
he left WWE, we got him on the podcast because he's a fan.
That's awesome.
He's also my canon voice for Hero on Blackheart as well.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the chat has decided that the advisor is physically present. He is in the room.
Is he in the room with us now?
I mean,
Do want to answer this question from Skitari Boy really quickly. They ask, wait, the connection does the chin. What does the chin have to do with Cryptech's gender? So weirdly enough, in the Necron Society, that big chin and the decoration on it is typically worn by women within their society, and it's a holdover from their time as the Necron tier. But the genders of the Necrons are still present within those that have higher function, essentially. I just think it's really, really cool that it's typically associated with women within their society.
It's also interesting as well that some titles in Necron Society are also gender, because you have Pharaons and you have Pharaoh, which is the female version.
Yep.
Dynaman says, he's in the walls. He's in the goddamn walls. Just a note, the poll is a tie, and our MO here on Lorebeards 40k is that if we have a tie in the chat, we do both. So it's tied as hidden as a subordinate and also physically present. So whoever this person is, they are hidden as a subordinate, but also always in the room.
He just strips of like Chris Pontius and Jackass when he goes into party boy mode. Hi, Harlequin now.
He just every now and then there's a hedge that appears behind him, and he just slips through it like Homer Simpson.
All right, so our next question. This is if it is an Imperial character, which it definitely is not, so I'm going to skip that question. We're going to go with how do they feel about non-Imperial forces? And if you guys want to do me a favor, talk about those options for question 4 while I work up the poll, that'd be really great.
Oh, Xenos and Heretics must burn. No nuance. I love this one. This one's my favorite. I'm going to work with the Xenos to destroy the Xenos. A very,
I mean, they all have enemies, right?
I mean, yeah. Good description of America right now. Anyway, a useful tool at arm's length if it prolongs the Imperial survival. I like this one too because the Imperium will use every tool at its disposal to struggle to survive another day. And the only thing keeping the Imperium going is its sheer girth at this point.
Girth.
That momentum.
Yeah, the momentum of them. Gilliman is like trying to put like scotch tape on a dam breaking. Belisarius Call is there hitting it with a pick, wondering what'll happen.
I'm just now got this mental image of like was it flex tape? It was like, hi, Rabune Gilliman here, and I got flex tape on the Imperium. Bam!
I love all the tests with that, like how much flex tape can you use to make yourself bulletproof?
I mean, better than Imperial Guard flak armor. Hey.
Yeah, probably.
All right, that poll is live for everybody, so if you want to vote, please go and do that while we discuss it.
I think we're Remlace, do you want to read C and D?
Yes, intriguing variables in a galactic equation to be studied. That'd be a good one for a Cryptech. Yeah, that's very Necron. Yeah. And potential patrons, allies, or future masters.
Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader would be like, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Who could help me out?
Prophet.
Right? Just step 3, Prophet. I think let's see, if we're doing a Harlequin, which we are doing a Harlequin. That's what we voted on.
Yes.
I need an update on the thing here though. So
we got this. Wow. Look at how professional we are. Damn, possibilities, so Harlequin.
So if it's a Harlequin, I think the right answer in this case is oh, actually, did we choose Cryptech? We chose Cryptech, didn't we?
No, we chose Harlequin.
Yeah, you're right. It is Harlequin. No, it's Harlequin. Yeah, I double checked. It's Harlequin. Okay. So if it's Harlequin, then I think the answer probably has to be useful tools, right?
Possibly intriguing variables could also work.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, if you go with the Stormlords, you could ally for a moment and just destroy everything using them as your first wave.
There's a lot of different possibilities. Let's close down the chat, the poll, not the whole chat, but let's close down the poll on the chat.
The entire chat. Be gone.
We'll close down the poll.
To the Shadow Realm.
Chat says useful tools at arm's length, 47%, so just under half voted for that.
Oh yeah, we found out that the damn Shadow Realm is real in 40k.
We did. We totally did. It's Alien's Rock, where the mandrakes come from.
Poor Yugi has been banishing people to mandrakes.
Well, mandrakes are scary. Not nearly as scary as flayers, who also have their own dimension, but
I still want to do that tier list on alternative dimensions in Warhammer.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, to be clear. All right, our next question is question 5. What style of campaign does the advisor typically or gently push on the player? Is there a bias? Do me a favor, talk about this one. I will set up the poll for it.
Yeah, right. Let's see. We have relentless offense.
Hey, snap.
You go ahead.
Relentless offense, more fronts, more battles, and high tempo. Fortress builder, choke point strongholds, and layered defenses. Surgical strikes, assassinations, decapitation attacks, and precision wars. Which, for a Harlequin, I can imagine that one being the more likely one.
Yeah.
And controlled chaos, stirring multiple conflicts to create opportunities. A Harlequin could also do that in fairness as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're going to do the ruthless offensiveness. Like they're not going to be like throw your entire force at this one planet.
Well, it depends. I mean,
Actually, they
Harlequins,
might because then they'll slip around you.
Harlequins
the
take
orcs.
on many roles as part of the troop. So if
Mhm.
if it's a Harlequin that takes on the trope, the role of Caleb and Chicane, for example, or if he's taking on the role of someone like Karandris or Fuegan, that would also count. But yeah, I think you guys hit the most likely ones. But sometimes there's chat sometimes really prefers the non-obvious choice. So
Yeah, like every time we put in an Imperial and get ready to answer all the Imperial questions. And then our chat never picks the Imperial stuff.
They're you know what, we're getting there, and it's fine. Chat will pick what chat wants to pick. This show would not survive or exist without our fan base. We have a certain debt to give the people what they want, Alexis.
That is true. That is very true.
Sorry to derail the topic very briefly, but I just learned that they've just revealed a God Emperor U2's final.
Oh, what now?
A what?
The U2s. They're like Funko Pops. They've done one of the God Emperor of mankind.
Oh, a Funko of the God Emperor. Holy shit! I did not know
Hang
that.
on, I'll send Alexis a picture. So I don't know if she can send you it on the chat or anything. But there you go.
What in the God Emperor's name is this horrific monstrosity? Hold on.
All right,
I need
guys, you got 30 seconds to vote. So I'll close down the poll here in a second. Biofoot says, to be fair, Imperial stuff is covered to death. Not on this channel, sir. But yes, I understand where you're coming from. I do get it.
Ross, can you lower that real quick so I can put this up so we can see this horrific monstrosity together?
Whoa, look at that. Look at that.
That
6-inch
sure
vinyl
is
figure.
Has capitalism gone too far?
Yes, unquestionably, yes. So that's what a U2 is. Okay, all right.
I hate it, but I also want it. But
I'm going to pass on this one, I think. But
he doesn't have his sword across his legs. Does that mean another Primarch is coming back? Someone to take the Emperor's sword, perhaps?
Well, Gilliman
That was
has
Gilliman.
Yeah, Gilliman has the sword.
He did take it.
Lion has the shield. Gilliman has the sword.
Yeah, that shield that was there that entire time.
The shield that was always been there, Alexis. We just didn't see it.
It was there. It was only 6 inches tall because there's that little thing on his lapel. Legit, right. It was this thing on his lapel. It just magically grew bigger because shenanigans.
All right, so
that book was weird.
The answer from chat is controlled chaos is the preferred method.
That actually makes a lot of sense for a Harlequin.
Agreed.
Ross, have you made it up to the Harlequin in Rogue Trader yet?
No.
Oh my God, play Rogue Trader so I can talk to you about it.
I know. I'm building up. Listen, I want to get through Final Liberation, and then we'll go do that. Maybe. I don't know.
I see you're a man of culture as well.
My friend Remleys, I could go on and on about Final Liberation. It's one of my favorite 40k games of all time, and the cutscenes are just absolute. There's so much 90s cheese in them.
They need to make a celebration miniature of Commissar Holt.
Oh my God, yes. Please, I would buy it right away.
But we have to have...
What a badass.
We have to have, like, notable commissars have miniatures. You know,
Holt is a notable
like
commissar. Remleys, I put as many quotes by Holt as possible into Dark Heresy. As many as possible, I swear.
Please tell me you also added... Choose your next words with exceptional care.
Oh God, that's a great scene. You and I are going to get along great. I can already tell. Yeah, Commissar Holt is the man. Leader 2457 says, on the hand, what the fuck? But on the other hand, I respect that they chose the Emperor in his dead state. I kind of want it. Talking about the U2.
Yep.
It'll look great in Kovu's litter box.
Thank you, Leader.
Do you know what I hate? Do you know what I absolutely hate? I have spent like thousands upon thousands of kroner on Kovu. I have bought him the greatest toys ever. I bought him laser toys. I bought him stuff that is supposed to be like the best cat toys on the market. He doesn't play with them.
He plays with
a bottle cap. Oh my god, he loses his shit for a simple bottle cap.
All right, we're going to move on to question 6. Would you guys do me a favor? Talk about this one for me while I write it up.
Excuse me.
How do they handle early game weaknesses or setbacks? Remlace, would you like to read the answers?
Just give me a second, sorry. Oh god, I hate coughing. Right,
I much prefer wheezing.
haha. Demand immediate counterattacks to avoid losing momentum, fall back to defensible positions and rebuild, pivot to cheap victories and vulnerable minor factions, exploit the setback as cover for a deeper plan. It's D.
It's D.
It's D.
We didn't lose. This was all part of my plan. You sacrificed thousands of men. Yeah, they weren't mine.
Killbots have a precise kill count. If you exceed it, they shut down.
So I sent wave after wave of my own men after them.
Oh, one of these days we'll have to get together with Remley's again to talk about some like super obscure stuff, Chrono Gladiators and the Angel of Destruction and stuff. That would be really fun.
How many people have been possessed by multiple greater demons?
The answer is yes.
It's a list exceeding 10.
Necroplayer says, how will our Harlequin justify helping Chaos, especially the ancient Tyranids, since their victory is the worst ending for the galaxy? Well, first of all, Chaos is not in the faction list yet, although I think we can guarantee that it will appear.
So
Tyranids, I don't know.
I do have an answer for this.
Go ahead.
What kills massive empire-spanning armies? Spreading yourself too thin. So, helping the Tyranids spread would be an easy way for counteroffensives to hit their trails, basically their supply lines, because Tyranids do need massive supply lines, and just kill them quicker, just with counteroffensives and hitting, vulnerable routes that they have, isolating them. Or maybe GW will remember that Nova cannons exist.
And it is a classic perfidious move by the Eldari to offer assistance that's actually only going to help them in the long run.
Yep.
That's how Ghazghkull Fracker rose to power.
Indeed. Eldrad Ulthran. We have a whole episode on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
that definitely counts as an oopsie daisy.
Eldrad.
I recently read the lore for the new Armageddon book with Yarrick in it. Ghazghkull's a bitch in it. Like, he flat out blows up the Fortress of Arrogance from space, thinking he killed Yarrick. And I'm like, that is not what he would have done. He would have shot down to stop them, ambush them, and fight him face to face.
Have you read Chains of Golgotha out of curiosity?
Not yet.
Because the basic premise of that book is that Yarrick gets captured by the orcs. He he goes Rambo on them, and then Ghazghkull at the end goes, "Nice one, Yarrick. Same time next week."
Yep.
And lets him go.
That's the one where he climbs out of the pit.
Yeah.
There's a really confusing part of that book where there is an Arvis lighter, and Ghazghkull tells him to get in and fly away so he can, get away and live. But that implies that there were pilots inside that thing, because Yarrick doesn't know how to fly. They
did actually explain, because the other, the lieutenant guy who was captured earlier, who tried to make a deal, he was basically wired into the Arvis lighter by Grotznik, made into a servitor, essentially.
But it's so funny that Ghazghkull kept an Arvis lighter in perfect condition so that it could get down to a planet. I love the idea that he's like, "Oi, boys, no, don't touch this." I don't know why he turned into Butcher for a second, but anyway, I just watched the Boys season finale, and holy crap. That's the only way to describe that thing.
Yeah, that was a thing, yeah.
It definitely is up there. I mean, Game of Thrones now looks way better. But anyway,
I wouldn't go that far.
I would. But anywho, Skatari Boy says, how would they advise Tyranids?
Psychically.
Scent trails.
Psychically. Harlequins, as being part of the Eldar species, have great psychic potential. And
Oh,
they, in fact, one of the types of Harlequins is called a Shadow Seer, who is a particularly powerful psyker who can, much like a Farseer, read the schemes of fate and could, in at least theoretically, communicate with the hive mind.
so second point to this, you could have the Harlequin go to different gene stealer cults to start building the ships to lure the Tyranids to those planets. Because that's the way that you talk to Tyranids, is through the Maguses. Because
maybe-
GW won't give us a Kerrigan.
Maybe we'll get a Kerrigan in Total War. You never know. You never know.
That would be so... Like, I like what they did in Dawn of War 2, where the Hive Tyrant could talk, and they expanded the Hive Tyrant's lore to be that they can potentially and on occasion have free will, and they direct battles themselves when they're on the ground.
I was going to suggest. Sorry, I was just going to suggest. Like they just do, like, kind of like in StarCraft 1, like, the psi emitters. Just have like, okay, we want them to go here. Just drop this little beacon there. There you go. Attract them like, moths to a flame.
Possibly, you could even have some sort of psychic messaging system where the Harlequin isn't like contacting the hive mind brain to brain, but is instead like leaving behind a crystal or something like that with a psychic message imprinted on it.
Or you can eat buffet.
Something along those lines.
The Tyranids are essentially an Uber driver for Uber Eats.
Leader 2457, thank you so much, sir. He says, on the topic of commissar models, I love that they didn't perfectly match Kane's new model with his heroic artwork.
Yes, I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, well, it is book accurate Kane, because he's got a chainsword and a las pistol.
Now, I am kind of annoyed that he's probably, I have to say probably, not going to be a Games Workshop miniature. It looks like he's a Black Library miniature, which means that he will have rules for Legends and not rules for the tabletop game. But it's very easy to put him into the tabletop game because you would just use him as a Commissar, or you'd use him as Commissar Yarick, and put him and Jurgen in a command squad. And Jurgen would just be the special weapon in the command squad.
But when are we going to get some plastic Valhallans? That's my real question.
Yeah, I want those too.
Chad has said, exploit the setback. Option D. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, that one. Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. Don't get sick. We need you alive and healthy.
That's right. For people who don't know, by the way, tomorrow, the plan is for Alexis and I to react to the skulls.
I possibly can't.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Because I got called in to do Viking stuff. I got to go fight at a museum.
Okay, so never mind. That's a big old never mind. We did try. We did try to work it out.
Yeah, okay, unless it happens before 6 p.m. my time. I don't know when it's happening.
Necroplayer says, I love Kane's tactical rock. It looks like a joke.
It does.
The tactical rock has become kind of a thing. Even my roommate who doesn't play 40k is like, oh, is he standing on a tactical rock?
I mean, it's much better for jump infantry to have a tactical rock instead of the stupid flight peg.
All right, well, we're moving on to question 8 now. I did skip 7. When I was building it, the question 7 just didn't work. So question 8, what's the threshold for planetary scale solutions? How does our advisor think about things like Exterminatus, for example?
Oh my God, I really hope you guys can't hear that dog that's still screaming in the background.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh my God, I am so sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
It's been screaming for 9 hours now.
And if you guys could talk about those options for me while I put up the poll, that would be super.
Sure. I just want to apologize for the constant coughing. Again, being ill sucks. It really does. But yes, so A, ready to escalate to bombardment or scouring quickly. B, only after conventional options are proved insufficient, which I imagine that would probably be for a Harlequin. They probably want to, like, only escalate if necessary. Seek alternatives, evacuation, quarantine, and sterilization, or secretly engineering a scenario to justify extreme measures.
Ooh, I like D. I really like D. We also did get a super chat from Stephen Lucas. How deal with Tyrannid in Total War Warhammer 40k? A bunch of denials? I'm not sure.
How
That,
Daniel is the so Daniel is the
is that
custom.
the Demon Prince?
So Daniel is the custom build your own demon prince for Total War Warhammer.
Okay.
And I think Stephen Lucas is asking like what a Tyrannid Legendary Lord would look like. One way to do that would be to build your own Hive Tyrant, which is not unlike a Daniel. Yeah, good question. I don't know, Stephen Lucas. I think a Daniel approach is not necessarily a bad idea. They already have the framework. They already know how to plug different things in. Tyrannids have a lot less flavor, though, than Chaos did in Total War on the fantasy side. So I'm not sure there'd be enough options to make it super worthwhile.
I mean, they do have options for legendary lords, though. Like, they have quite a bit now. They have the Red Terror. They have the Death Leaper. They have all of their named characters could be there. And then they could reach into the lore for, like, some of the ones mentioned in certain books that somebody here has written. And do the Hive Tyrant, or the Reaper of Obliterax, or the Doom of Malantai, or the one from
the Dagon Overlord.
Yeah, the Dagon Overlord. Like you got.
Hey, that's mine. I made that guy.
Yep.
Dagon Overlord. I am responsible for him, Remleys. I hope you don't get too many questions about it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Awesome. If you ever want to do an episode on the Jericho Reach, by the way, reach out to me because that would be awesome.
Will do.
Every time I hear the Jericho Reach, I think of it. Every time I look at it, I think Jakaro Reach, and I'm just like, it's a bunch of monkeys.
No.
I just think of Chris Jericho.
Oh, that's also a good one.
All right, so let's see what chat has to say. Chat believes that the right answer for our advisor is to secretly justify extreme measures.
I think the dog stopped.
Dun dun dun.
Oh my god, I can hear. Oh.
That's actually pretty cool for Harlequin to want to push for even more extreme answers. That's an interesting. I mean, it could be a death jester at that point.
I was just thinking that. Because, like, the Harlequin doesn't have to be just a baseline Harlequin. It could be a Troop Master. It could be a Death Jester. It could be a Shadow Seer. I was trying not to call them Shadow Spectre because that's something different.
That's an Aspect Warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now we're on to
mask. There's another mask.
We're on to question 9. Smithfire says Chris Jakaro.
Monkey.
Wow, now that's a whole new level of kayfabe right there. It's a Jakaro pretending to be a professional wrestler.
It's a Jakaro that is a professional wrestler.
That's awesome. All right, so now we're on to question 9, which is how easily does the advisor lean on the warp?
Well, if it's a Harlequin, doesn't want to go there.
Psychic units and rituals are normal tools, which is the option B here. A is minimal, navigators and astropaths only, tightly leashed. C is enthusiastic, heavy use of divination, sorcery, or experimental psychana. And D, they are warp adjacent entity, and C, most things as omens. Honestly, it could be anything but A, really, with a Harlequin.
Yeah.
Well, tightly leashed could be a thing. I mean, if you're a Shadow Seer and you really, you're looking at things that, if you're a Shadow Seer that looks at the universe like the butterfly effect, if I flap my wings here, this other thing happens here. Maybe minimalism is not necessarily a bad thing.
True.
So I can see all of them.
We did get a super chat from Ricky Chapman saying, if it's a Harlequin, it's got to be a Solitaire. Now, there is something about Solitaires that really irked me for a while, because for a little tiny bit they were blanks, and now they're not, but they have similar abilities. And it still irks me a little bit. It's kind of like how they changed faith powers to being just whatever, not warp adjacent, but sort of warp adjacent. Now the Harlequin Solitaire is just like, hey, the blank gene exists in in the Eldar, but now it doesn't. Now they're just like,
No, now they have a
And-
special deal they made with Segurok,
yeah,
where Segurok gambles for their souls with Slanesh. I'm sure Remziel knows all about solitaires.
That thing about Jagorak like fighting, gambling with Slanesh for their souls. That's been a thing since like second edition at the very least.
mm-hmm.
I think the black. I only ever recall the blank thing regarding solitaires ever being a thing in the tabletop RPGs. I can't ever remember it appearing in a codex or anything like that.
Yeah, it was never in a codex, and it's slightly mentioned in the not the Gathering Storm, the Psychic Awakening, but then it's like never mentioned again. And it's like they have a similar, and it's not them stating that they're blanks. I'm just going to put that out there. They are not stated to be blanks. Their powers are similar to that of blanks, is what I'm saying. But the weirdest part of it is Ethereal Stern is standing right next to it, and they never address that.
I don't think Kikino is an actual blank. He's called the Pariah, but that's more akin to him being a Pariah, as in he's an outsider rather than him being a blank. He's called the Pariah because he is, an outcast, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, they're framed as soulless Eldar. That their soul is promised or absent in a way that makes them terrifying and aloof. And I think that may have been where people are like, oh, so they're like a blank who's also called soullesses.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, and I want more answers on it, but I also don't, because I like the mystery, and I don't want 40k to go down the Star Wars route of trying to explain everything.
Yes, how did Han Solo get his name? We didn't need to know.
Why does the universe have sound? Oh, because the universe is a living organism, and everything swims within it.
So the answer from chat is our advisor is very practical and is employ psychers and rituals without being enthusiastic and not so above minimal. We're going with the option B here on the Harlequin.
I mean, honestly, that kind of makes sense because the Harlequin isn't going to use its version of, traveling through space, which is, the webway, or however they decide to travel through space. I could see them, like, if they're with the Imperials use their space travel, and they're just sitting in there like, holy crap, you guys do this? I feel safer with the Kroot.
A Kroot Shaper would have been a really fun advisor. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't work with everybody is the problem. So now we're on to question 10. Are there visions or foresight that informs the advice?
That feels like a yes. That feels like it has to be, right?
Yeah, option A is none, purely rational models and historical data. Yeah, that's not going to fly over Harlequin. Fragmentary reports, tarot readings, and battlefield omens. Coherent but unsettling visions from an unclear source. And wild, vivid prophecies that oddly keep coming true. Again, it's anything but A. It's anything but A.
I'm just imagining a Harlequin coming out of the Black Library with Sun Tzu's Art of War.
I mean, again, it depends on what role they play in the troop, because I could see an avenue for someone who's like going full Assyrian or full Vol, maybe, that might be a little more analytical. But yeah, I think you're right that it's very unlikely.
Yeah. I still want more information about the White Seers that only appear in one book. The Eldar that live within the Black Library. And I'm just like, that's super cool. And they're mentioned again by Yvraine, and then they're never mentioned again. It's like, well, everything with Yvraine was kind of just thrown out the window because that didn't take off the way GW wanted it to.
Do you remember when the Guardians of the Black Library were called the Black Guardians, and then they gave that name to the Ulfway ones instead?
Yep. And now they're the White Council, which is a very weird name.
It's like, anywho. I didn't realize we were in Cyrodiil.
Yeah, right? There's a lot of very silly things with the Eldar that are very obvious jokes and nods at other media.
You mean like killer clowns from outer space? Or
yep,
guns that literally send you to hell? Or or robots that are piloted by ghosts, or I could keep going.
Guns that shoot ninja stars.
That's right. Guns. I mean, it's total mall ninja stuff right there, right? All right. So our questions.
Unlike you, Monkai, I've studied the blade.
While you were busy out there, I studied the blade.
Rem, it has taken me a very long time to convince Ross that the weebs of 40k are actually the Eldar.
They are.
They follow the.
No. You didn't take any. I was with you the whole time on that.
Yeah, it took me at least 10 seconds.
All right, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds left to vote on our particular question that we're on here, and then we will get on to the next question, which is how does the advisor communicate with the player? That's going to be pretty interesting.
Clicking noises. You're a bird.
Strange clicking
vibration.
Sweet vibration.
Smoke signals.
Musical stings.
All right, ending the poll. Looks like the answer from chat is vivid prophecies that come true is the answer.
I do love me some vivid prophecies because they could never be wrong, because if they're wrong, well, that wasn't the prophecy. I misinterpreted it.
So how does the advisor sound, and what are the options for that?
The options are military briefings, concise, no-nonsense, map markers and talk, liturgical sermons, parables, invocations, lots of by his will, dry, sardonic, black humor, morbid asides, very Reddit comet Fred energy, stilken and conspiratorial whispers, confidences, just between us. I imagine D for this one.
Well, how would you imagine that happening in game? Like, what would it sound like?
Secret romance.
No.
Let me dream.
You can just play Romance of Drukari there.
Well,
I did.
So our Harlequin is definitely both present in the War Council, but also pretending to be a subordinate. So the silken conspiratorial idea could be literally someone coming up next to you and just whispering in your ear, being like, hey, so I know you're thinking about attacking that province or that planet, but there's maybe a better way to go about this. If only you could focus on, collecting your resources before you build your army.
I'm just having this flashback to this one scene from The Young Ones. He was like, "Hey, come here. Hey, between you and me, right? Between you and me, I think I'm gonna be sick."
Oh, gross. Gross. But also I can see that happening for sure.
Yeah, I am trying my hardest not to spoil things from the Rogue Trader game with these answers.
Oh, it's worth pointing out. Spitfire is pointing out from the Total War that the advisor doesn't have to be truly helping him. In Total War Warhammer 1, the advisor was helping Archean only to double cross him near the end of the campaign. That is in fact true. So this Harlequin could be helping to a point, which is also a good justification for dealing with factions they ordinarily wouldn't, like Tyranids and whatnot. Scott Boy, that's when you play Death Guard. Is that one. All right, so we're going to wrap up the poll here, and the chat says,
excuse me,
Stilken and conspiratorial is the correct answer. We have a very interesting advisor coming up here. I'm feeling like a Nightshade type name here. Interpretive dance.
That's valid for a Harlequin.
Yeah, very valid actually, although it would make briefings a bit awkward.
So what should we do, advisor? He starts doing Gangnam Style.
I imagine the Rasputin dance.
What does the Macarena mean in this context?
Why are you gyrating your hips?
Good times.
The commissar standing right there. Don't you dare.
All right, so how much do they reveal of their reasoning is the next question. How open and transparent is our advisor with what they're thinking while they're working on trying to guide the player.
So option A, fully transparent. No, not for a Harlequin. No. Explains only key points, expects the player to connect the dots, speaks only in hints, double meanings, and you will see in time, and frequently lies or omits even when giving useful advice. I reckon C for this one.
It's either C or D.
Mm. It's a CD. It's the compact disc.
I'm still just imagining they just start shuffling on you. What does this mean?
They're doing the Fortnite flossing.
So let's get that poll going. You guys can vote on this. I think typically the transparency, there's going to have to be some of that, especially in the tutorial aspect of the advisor, where they're telling you how to do certain things. You know, hey, diplomacy is good. This is one of the things that the advisor likes to say when you're working in Total War Warhammer. But you can't. This is more about flavor, I think, more than content, right? Because you can be fully transparent and just literally say, "Hey, diplomacy is good," but you can also be, you know, there's reasons why you would want to work with your allies or set up your enemies in the future, kind of a thing. So I think it's possible for all of these to be part of a semi-tutorial aspect of an advisor.
I'm just imagining the Harlequin with a Flava Flav like giant clock around them breakdancing.
Ricky Chapman. Ricky Chapman is our local tabletop role-playing game enthusiast. He has a campaign that he often tells us about. And he says, "Hi, Remleys. Inquisitor Remleys cameoed in our tabletop role-playing game campaign recently."
Hey, I hope I did well. Thank you, Ricky. Much appreciated.
Actually, whenever I need a random, almost heretical Inquisitor, it's you.
I'm not even mad.
Hey, someone needs you to break into this thing that's highly illegal to do and heretical to know about. Damn, what Inquisitor could send us on that mission?
Hello.
Remlays.
The Inquisition is also a really big topic to cover at some point. We will need to cover it here on the channel. It would be fun to have you along if you want to join us again, Remleys. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Sure, it could be fun, yeah.
All right, so 30 seconds left in the chat if you want to vote on that option. But the advisor is taking shape. I think we have a pretty interesting Harlequin. Although I think what I'd like to ask for Remleys and Alexis to do next is, if you guys feel like it, come up with 4 options for what kind of Harlequin we're talking about. Is it a Shadow Seer? Is it a Troop Master? Is it a Death Jester? That kind of thing.
Okay, I need to get their names down really quickly, so I'm gonna cheat and bring up a list because I
need to be reminded, what's the difference between a Troop Master and a Great Harlequin?
I think that's just a question of degree, isn't it?
Could be.
They're both leaders. Just one is a bigger leader than the other.
One's more.
Whichever one has the bigger hat.
So, do we want it to be? Oh, it looks cool. Anyway, okay. So
a Troop Master is a basic leader of a single Harlequin troop. A Great Harlequin is a commander of multiple troops, a major figure within a mask. So the mask level leaders are the Shadow Seers, the high level Troop Masters, and so on. And so the Great Harlequin is the most powerful of that group.
Right. Okay.
Every troop has a Troop Master, but a Great Harlequin would command more than one troop.
So our options are a Troop Master or Great Harlequin, a Solitaire, because Solitaire, a Shadow Seer. Shadow Seer could be a lot of fun because this actually appears in the Rogue Trader promotional stuff from earlier on in 9th edition. And then a Death Jester. I could definitely see the Death Jester being the one advising you on military roles. I could see the Shadow Seer being the one that wants you to hit certain enemies only to betray you at the end because they were always trying to preserve Eldar lives. Or destroy a great enemy that'll be a great enemy in the future. The Solitaire, I mean, they don't really talk, so I don't know. I guess that is the interpretive dancing one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think a solitaire is a good option.
I mean, they might communicate with hand signs. Like, that's not out of the question.
It wouldn't work in the context of the game.
Fair. Unless they had, like, what they do with the Sisters of Silence, where they say in sign language after it. And just have
No.
somebody read it out loud.
I really don't think it'd work. Remley's can correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't feel like it would be a great idea for an advisor who really can't speak to you.
It would be a bit awkward.
All right, so options are Death Jester, Shadow Seer. What are the other two?
So we have a Death Jester, Shadow Seer, Harlequin, just a Troop Master. And then let's go with an Outcast as the last option.
Remley's, any thoughts?
I think Shadow Seer probably the best option because they got the whole mysterious, I can still see into the future kind of thing to help guide you, but I'm also a powerful psychic. I can blow shit up if need be, kind of thing. I think that'll probably be the best all rounder. I think. If you just want to settle on just one, otherwise you could go on a case by case basis per mission, have like a rotating advisor kind of thing.
So the four options we have in front of us are Death Jester, Shadow Seer, Troop Master, and Outcast. Is that the correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll start the poll, see what Chad has to say. I'm always curious to see how these things work. Remley's, this is your first Let's Build with us. We have done many of these. We've built a Eldari Craft World, and a Rogue Trader, a Space Marine chapter, and a Chaos Warband. And every time Chad has come up with some pretty interesting and unusual ways about this. You should hear about our Orc Freebooter we built one time.
The Orc Freebooter that weaponize flayers against Necrons.
He preys on Necron vessels and fires boarding torpedoes full of flayers at them.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
It's absolutely horrifying because the flare virus would spread amongst them. The orcs would be like, yeah, we get a good fight out of this. And the Necrons would suffer an absolute horrendous death.
Ricardo Andre asks, are there animals or beasts associated with the various Eldar gods? Yes. I.e. Phoenix for Assyrian, but actually for Assyrian, it's is it the Phoenix or is it the Falcon?
I think it's the Phoenix.
Then there's
the Phoenix King.
Right, but there's
in 40k, Assyrian is known as the Phoenix King.
Right,
yeah.
the god Assyrian. Yeah, you're right.
The god,
yes, that's correct. I was thinking Asherman is also related to the Falcon, but the Falcon is like a mythical beast that's kind of all Eldar. It's not necessarily with one god.
The Falcon is a weird thing because it's supposed to be like the reincarnation of someone who's been murdered, and they basically seek out their murderer and hover above them to basically publicly shame them, essentially.
That's right. Cain, Kurnus, Lilith, etc. I believe they probably do have animals or beasts associated with them. I don't know if we know what they are, though.
I know in fantasy, Kurnos and Isha were the stag and the butterfly, or the stag and the moth. Because their avatars had characteristics of a stag and a butterfly / moth. So I don't know if that's true in 40k. I imagine so because it's basically the same gods, just different universe. I know the striking scorpions represent the aspect of Cain as the ambusher. So you could argue maybe, but that's...
Well, all aspect warriors are just different versions of aspects of Cain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically, warp spiders and... scorpions and
fire
hawks and dragons and yes, all of
and
those
my
things.
Favorite animal amongst them all, a banshee.
I don't know what the gods, the beasts are associated. We need to do an episode on the pantheons because there is also the lesser pantheon being the muses for the Drukari worship the muses.
There's also the cosmic serpent as well.
Cosmic serpent, yeah. Oh, good question, Ricardo Andre. He's a thinking man, Ricardo Andre. I like that he thinks more deeply about these things than I do sometimes.
I'm still trying to figure out like what the hell the avatar would be.
The Avatar of Cain?
Yeah, like what animal would he be?
A gene
Well,
stealer.
At least once. At least once. Oh my god.
That was so stupid.
So wild. All right, let's see what chat says about our Harlequin. What kind of Harlequin are we? We are an outcast. 50% of the people. Shadow Seer was the next one down at 43%. So,
Nice.
Pretty good. We are an outcast Harlequin.
We have designed the twink that follows around Ethereal Stern.
That guy is kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but yeah, he is.
Chicken
The Vizark. The Vizark also is not too far away from this, although the Vizark is Dark Eldar, if I'm not mistaken, rather than Harlequin. But
sorry. Just noticed a quote from Ricardo Andre. In fantasy, the animal associated with Cain is the scorpion. So I was right.
I mean, it's again in 40k, it's one of numerous animals associated with Cain.
I know, but it's just like justification. Vindication.
So many animals associated with Cain in 40k. All right, so our next question is going to be question 13. How do they treat incomplete or contradictory intelligence?
Hi, Kovu. How are you doing, buddy?
They deal with cats, apparently.
Yes, we get Kovu.
Why don't you guys explore these options here, and
Yes.
I will type it up as a poll for the chat.
So option A, they act anyway, speed beats certainty. They delay mage moves until scouting clarifies the picture. They use proxy forces, allies, auxiliaries, cults, etc. to test hypotheses, or intentionally feed bad intel to enemies, even if it confuses allies. I reckon it's D.
I'd go with A.
Well, why would it be why would it be any of the other ones? I mean, that's a question I would ask too.
Yeah. Okay, Kovu, I need my other arm real quick. Okay, there we go.
I reckon it'll be D just because it seems more of a general Eldari tactic to just try and confuse the enemy. Just like, hey, this is going to benefit us. We're not going to. It's going to benefit you by benefiting us. We're not going to tell you how. You just got to trust.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of thing. I can't imagine them acting recklessly because the Eldari like to plan ahead by a lot. They always like to read the sky and all that. So I can't imagine them just leaping in both feet first.
So the reason that I do think that they would do this is there is a path. One of the books about Eldari shows them just randomly attacking an orc war boss just because they have no advisory or anything. They just want to attack this war boss that's been a pain in their ass. And I could see like young Harlequins definitely being the ones that are a bit more, gung-ho about, killing everything.
Remlies, I don't like disagreeing with you, but I would say that there's plenty of evidence that Eldar have been reckless in the past, disturbingly reckless in some cases. Prince Uriel is a great example, or Eldrad meeting Fulgrim to talk about chaos with nobody else around, for example.
True. But you could also argue those are just individual exceptions rather than the general average of the species as a whole. Because they do have seek a lot of guidance from like the Sea Councils who have to they do navigate the strands of fate to say, okay, so we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to stop this kind of thing. So I mean, I suppose that's more true for the Craftwells themselves rather than say, the Outcasts or even like the Corsairs or anything like that. So I imagine Corsairs would definitely be more reckless because they're all in it just for the booty.
Oh yeah. Well, the Corsairs are absolutely the daredevils of Eldari society because they're the ones who operate the furthest away from any resource to save their souls from Slaanesh. So they are absolutely the guys who are just like, woohoo, we're going to go out there and YOLO.
Adrenaline junkies, yeah.
They are the ones who go YOLO the most.
Yar har fiddly dee. Being a pirate is art with me.
Lol LimeWire.
Oh, we've got a super chat here from Ricardo Andre says, if you had to reconstruct Enuncia, how would you go about it? I'd start by analyzing the D tongue. I'm not sure what that is, and Eltharin, which I believe is the Eldari language, and crossover based on basis from Enochian. That's not how you spell Enochian, my friend. Enochian lore.
I have no idea.
Reconstruct Enuncia. Okay, so Enuncia is, for people who don't know what the hell Enuncia is a thing that happens pretty much only in Dan Abnett novels in the Black Library. It is described in those novels as being like a primordial language, and speaking it can create very powerful supernatural effects.
It's basically a Thum from Skyrim.
Yeah,
arguably stronger than that, but yeah, it's not unlike that.
But yeah,
and it can actually harm you by using it. Like people bleed from the mouth when they try to speak Enuncia.
Yes, there's that one time when John Grammaticus went Fusro Dar Horus.
Oh, John Grammaticus. Yeah. Dark tongue is what he meant. The dark tongue. Yeah. You're talking. Unfortunately, Ricardo, you're talking about a niche of a niche of a niche. Enuncia is literally just a thing that appears in a few novels and is very rarely talked about outside of that.
We should actually talk to Dan Abnett and get him on here when we talk about like.
God, that would be amazing.
Stuff.
It'd be amazing to talk to Dan Abnett. I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah.
But reconstructing Enuncia, well, I think the Inquisition probably has some resources to do this. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really tough question because there's so many things you'd have to do. The Inquisition would probably be the first place to start if you're inside the Imperium. Because they can.
Inquisitor Draxus probably has some stuff on it.
Maybe. Again, it's if it's in a novel but not in a codex or a rule book, it's very rare. I would speculate he probably doesn't know about it. But this being Lorebeards, we should talk about why he could and why he should know about it, right? We should not just dismiss it and move on. Okay, so working on that topic. Okay, here's a out of the box theory. Go speak to the Votan. Go talk to the ancient AIs because they may have been able to collate or parse aspects of Enuncia that no one else can or has. Alternatively, same, but use the Men of Iron instead.
Or hear me out, monkeys.
God, Alexis, you are obsessed.
They have the technology. They probably.
Emunkia. Well, Enuncia is not tech. It's absolutely not tech. It's actually questionable whether it's even psychic at all.
Ooh, then do you know who added that?
Wasn't it described as being the very language of creation?
Yeah, that's essentially how it's described.
There was a certain Necron you could ask about that.
Trazyn would probably be the one.
Yep.
If I could speak to Trazyn, I'd speak to Trazyn about it. Possibly Auric can be able to look back in time and maybe like discover aspects of it. The Necrons almost certainly would have some understanding, you would imagine, given that they're so old. And if Abnett is correct, and if it is the language of creation, then maybe it would be. I don't know. So Ricardo points out that John French is also writing about it. Cool. Yeah. That's
John
great.
French has also some really good books.
Personal friend of mine and an amazing writer, and has written a whole bunch of Warhammer 40k roleplay. So there's that as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Was it him or you that wrote The Trice Possessed?
What book is that in?
It's in one of the Dark Heresy books. It's the girl that kept absorbing Keepers of Secrets so much that Slanesh got involved and was just like, what do you want? And she's like, eternal youth. And she's just like, fucking done. Stop feeding on my keepers.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember. If that was in Disciples of the Dark Gods, it almost certainly was John French.
I think it is.
Outside of that book, I have a hard time figuring it out. So
yeah.
All right.
It's such a funny, like, she's such a powerful woman, and she's just a planetary governor.
All right, so we got the answer from chat. It is use proxy forces to test ideas is the answer.
That's the most Eldar thing.
That's pretty good.
Possible.
Yeah.
All right, now we go to the next question on our list, which is, what do they do when a plan is not working?
Panic.
Wow.
Yep.
Double down, victory demands sacrifice, order a fighting withdrawal and regroup, pivot to an entirely new vector, surprising everyone, pretend that failure was part of the long con.
Are we going to talk real Eldar? Then it's D.
Well, Xanatos Gambit is absolutely an Eldari thing. It's also a very
I love
chaos
how
thing.
it's actually called the Xanatos Gambit after David Xanatos from Gargoyles.
Yes, but
Yep.
he's the originator of the trope. Yeah.
God, he has one of the best quotes in all of fiction ever. Pay a man enough money and he'll walk barefoot into hell. Was said by him, a fucking cartoon character.
Hey, you know, wisdom can come from many sources.
I love it.
I wonder if like Patrick Stewart ever turned around and says, "So why wasn't I invited to be on this show? Because everyone else is."
I mean, it literally is the whole team of Star Trek Next Generation.
And Voyager's on there as well. Because Kate Mulgrew's in an episode or two. She's Titania, I think.
Nice.
Remlace, have you kept up with the Gargoyle comics?
I have not, no.
Oh, they're so good. If you ever get a chance, I highly recommend that you read them. They're written by the original like creators and everything, and it's a direct sequel. Like I love Gargoyles. It is my favorite, like one of my favorite shows growing up.
Does it continue from the Stone was it the Stonecutters arc, or has that last thing from the last season been omitted and we're just ignoring that?
No, that's still canon.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. Keep in mind, the creator of that show got like he cut his pay almost completely to keep his employees paid so that they could keep making the show.
He's a real one.
And then when the show went under, he was just like, I'm not getting rid of my show, and kept it. And then he's like, I'm gonna continue my show, and then made the comic. And oh my god, it's fantastic. I have almost every variant cover. I've been collecting this shit for like 2 years now. No, 4 years now. It's great. It's
So
my whole top row of comics.
Nice.
It's all Gargoyles.
Nice.
So what would
Anyway,
go ahead.
I must apologize, but I do have to head off now, I'm afraid.
All right,
so
catch you later, Remlace.
But thank you for having me on the show. It's been a blast, and to everyone in chat, be nice to these two. They're good people. So
yeah,
we'll catch up with you later. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me on again, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Take it easy.
So, how would you? What would you decide?
He has to... Okay, he did remember. Okay. Can you repeat that, Ross?
So what would you decide for our Harlequin on these options? Well, let me rephrase that. What do you think is the most likely, and what do you think is the most fun options of those that we're talking about now?
So if it's not Eldari forces, A is the answer.
Doubling down.
Double down. Pretend that it's not your problem, and just let everyone die. Victory demands this sacrifice. But if it is Eldari, it's going to be pivot to a new vector.
Okay, well, chat's got 30 seconds before I close that down. I think you're actually pretty good. I also like the option that pretending that the failure was part of a longer con.
That one is fully Eldred.
Eldred kind of is forced into that because so many of his plans fail, I think. Is that he's gotten to the point where he's like, okay, this is probably not going to work, but how can I make that not working still something that works for me?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to shut down this poll and see what chat says. The answer is pivot to surprising new vector. That is the correct answer. I actually really like that answer. I think it's a good one.
Because it makes so much sense that you would just, all right, I'm losing on this war front, but I see this army moving, hit their supply lines. Again, I'm going to constantly bringing up hitting supply lines, even though 40k doesn't believe in supply lines for some reason, except in the Imperial Armor books where that's a huge problem. In fact, they actually make specialized vehicles to go running back and forth to protect convoys. And I really, really like the Imperial Armor books. I love the way they're written and everything. And I feel like more modern lore needs to be written like a military drama
You
to
need to read,
really capture, what it should feel like for a guardsman.
you need to read more Dan Ebnett novels. He has a lot of stuff about the Munitorum and how the supply lines get to the Imperial Guard. Another good book for that is actually Steel Tread and
I've read it.
Demolisher, which
I
are
haven't
about a
read
tanker.
Demolisher yet.
Those two cover that. Specifically, the novel I'm thinking of is Interceptor City, where the main character starts out doing supply runs to a planet. So on a planet that's fighting against chaos. So those would be the places I would look for that particular thing. But we're now on to question. Go ahead.
That kind of stuff for some reason is my favorite thing to read when it comes to guard novels. It's either because like in the Caiaphas Cain novels, they talk about it a lot. They actually do bring up that Caiaphas has to go in the back and make sure the artillery is set. Like, I need to go and check on them. And while it's taken more tongue-in-cheek in Caiaphas Cain novels, it's there. Like, you actually feel for the soldiers on the front line with Caiaphas Cain there. But anyway, Biofoot says, now the company left, where's our damn pie, Ross?
Was I supposed to bring pie?
Apparently.
I missed that one. I'm sorry. Biofoot, what kind of pie do you like? I guess that's probably, I would respond to that. Like, what kind of pie would you want me to bring? Myself, I'm an apple pie and pumpkin pie enthusiast. Do not like pecan pie. Do not like lemon meringue.
I brought pumpkin pie to like my Icelandic friends because we celebrate Thanksgiving here, and I bring all of my Icelandic friends and everything. And let me tell you, the pumpkin pie, they did not think that they were going to like. They absolutely loved. And I'm so happy about that because I get to celebrate Thanksgiving with them every year now. And we make the food and everything. And I don't understand why my mom always complained about like all the dishes and everything. Just put them in a dishwasher. Done. Anyway, I'm joking. So we're on to question 15, right?
Yes.
How do they react when the player repeatedly ignores them? Oh, I hope petty bitch is on there.
That would be probably D, the logging of non-compliance, or possibly C, or possibly B. It wouldn't be A. A is the patient mentor, patiently re-explaining, assuming that you're ignorant. You just didn't quite grasp it because you're a silly monk guy. Yeah. Slightly irritated. This is where you get the passive aggressive commentary.
Oh my God, I hate that.
And then testing the player with riskier suggestions. Let's just see what you'll do. See how far you'll go. And then the last one is like, well, this is the third time you've ignored me. This will not go well for you.
Yeah. And so I would say D is petty bitch.
I mean, it can be, yeah. If you really want to go there, very petty Eldar. It's not out of the question either. I mean, it is definitely in the wheelhouse for the Eldar to be petty. So we're going to about 30 seconds left on that poll. Please get your votes in before we turn it off here. We got a pudding joke. Pudding pie. Oh, pudding pie. 10 out of 10. Have you had a pudding pie? I have not.
I've had pie with like chocolate pudding in that, if that's what counts as a pudding pie. Because that's pretty good. I'm quite curious what they mean by pudding pie. I think I'll just have to go and order a bunch of pies.
If I go to the grocery store and go to the pie section, I don't think pudding pie is in there, but is it like key lime? Would that be a pudding pie?
Well, I mean, the only way that we can be certain about this, Ross, is that we have to go and get a whole bunch of pie.
I mean,
and then we can't let it go to waste. Then we just have to eat all of it.
Absolutely. Passive aggressive irritation wins the poll, by the way.
Aw.
That's petty.
It's petty, but it's not like being a bitch.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna log this one as at least adjacent to that, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, and what's coming up next is going to be how do they emphasize the player's primary duty? Duty.
God damn it. You beat me to it. So, the first one. Hold the line and secure Imperial territories.
Well, territory. Let's just say territory.
Territory. Okay. Then we got expand and bring more worlds under compliance. Eliminate specific key threats and even at territorial cost. Or mysterious greater designed beyond borders and scores. Yeah, let's go with that. Out of those four,
like feuds, like settling the score, so avoiding beyond borders, beyond revenge is kind of what that's thinking.
Okay. The one that I would honestly go with is, like, if it was an Imperial advisor, it would definitely be hold the line and secure your Imperial territories. Definitely. Like, if you had an Inquisitor telling you what to do, that would make sense. If it's an Eldar, eliminate specific key threats, even at territorial loss, seems to be the way that they would go. And I think that that's the one that feels the most Eldari to me, or Harlequin-y.
Serve the mysterious great design though too. That
but they're not lizard men.
Well, that's a great plan, not a great design. Ricardo Andre, thank you so much for the super chat. Is it fair, in your opinion, to fall back to Warhammer Fantasy sources to fill in some empty things in 40k unless they contradict, i.e., color symbolism for elves and divine anima? I think you can. You certainly can. But it is important, in my opinion, to remember that these are separate universes with separate rules and things work differently in each. But it's definitely one is there are echoes and rhymes that seem to cross over between them. And I think it is absolutely fair to be like, to fall back to Warhammer Fantasy, say, well, this is probably true,
Yeah, I would double down on that. Just be like, well, this is what this one preacher in the Eldari society is saying, but the Eldar aren't fully convinced. Would be the best example. Like, oh, Cain embodies the scorpion. Again, fantasy, correct. In 40k, I'm sure that would be a very, very, very popular theory along with the striking scorpions. But maybe the howling banshees would be like, no, not for us.
Warp spiders, swooping hawks.
Yeah,
we could go down the whole list, but they're all aspects of Cain.
To bring this into an actual lore topic, like a thing that's actually discussed in the lore, is when Gilliman asked his Eldari advisory, whose name I can't remember right now, my apologies. His name is the same name as the original half Eldar Space Marine, because it's a nod at that character. But in the book, Gilliman asks them if the Emperor is a god, because he's still questioning that. And the Eldari talks about how even to the Eldari, there are those who believe that the Emperor is a god and those that believe that the Emperor is not a god. I think it is something like that.
It's Nastase. It's Illyrian Nastase.
Yeah, Nastase. Yeah. So that's the way that I would word it, especially if you're doing a campaign and you're trying to like find like different things from the lore itself to like talk about.
He wasn't just a Space Marine either. He was the original chief librarian of the Ultramarines.
And their astropath.
Well, I mean, back then, they could all do astropath stuff. So
yeah,
there you go.
But also back in those days, that wasn't a genetically enhanced super soldier yet.
Well,
that was just a human that was buff.
Well, I mean, they had advantages. Fair to say.
The armor.
All right, let's see what the poll says. The poll says they are going to serve a mysterious great design.
Tigarath.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
So let me see here. Probably a joke by Segarak, I think, which would actually be very in line with Total War Warhammer 40k. Actually, Total War, I should say, advisor would be that it's all a great joke. It's all part of a massive joke on the universe.
I just thought about Kigarat's like closest friend is probably fucking Nuffle.
Ah!
Like, I could imagine both of them just sitting and watching Blood Bowl being like, this is terrific.
So,
eating a bunch of pop skulls, drinking some Bloodweisers.
I would love to see a version of Blood Bowl in 40k, that's for sure. But we're now on to question 17, which is, what is the interesting rumor circulating about the advisor?
They're corrupted by me specifically. I have corrupted them. I have taught them interpretive dance, and now they can't stop doing it. It's kind of like when you get a terrible song stuck in your head and you keep singing it by accident.
I'm pretty sure there are accounts of Slaanesh worshippers dancing themselves to death, among other, pleasurable activities. Just to say,
let's just leave that pleasurable activities at that, so we can stay monetized.
Right. I didn't say anything more than that.
Okay, let me actually read these answers really quickly. They never seem to age despite decades of entries in old logs. Their voice matches an old ship spirit or cogitator core, though thought to be destroyed. They once served a completely different faction and simply switched sides. That's the Eldar one. They were recorded as killed in action in a previous crusade. I mean, everyone in 40k was thought to be dead at one point. I'm still thinking of the... please tell me you made it to the pleasure court.
I haven't started Rogue Trader yet.
Play Rogue Trader. I need to talk to you about
it. I want to. There's just things in the background that need to happen first.
Well, make them happen. Manifest them into reality and then choke them out.
I would like to. I would really like to, but we're just not there yet. I still have to play Bloodborne with Vera, and trying to figure that out has been a nightmare. And we've got the Empire Satanis one shot we need to do with Vera. So there's this show. These shows are not just the 3 hours that I sit here and do the thing.
No,
they are also all the planning and involved. There's stuff around it that need to be done. And if we can just herd the cats in the right direction, we can get a lot of these things accomplished. So eventually, yes, I plan to do this. Eventually, it's just not today. There will come a day when we need to do this.
I'm going to talk to you about Rogue Trader, damn it.
Okay, well, we'll have a little episode about it. I mean, I would love to. So we are going to do the poll here. It's going to close about 30 seconds. I think, personally, I like the voice from an old cogitator core or an old ship spirit would be pretty interesting. It's like, why do you sound so much like this old recording? That's something I would really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Switching sides is very common too. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you. And yeah, the switching side ones feels the most Eldar to me.
The answer is they never seem to age. Well, actually, no, it's a tie, so we get both. They never seem to age, and their voice matches an old recording. Nice.
Ooh, they got like an old hololithic display of them and everything, so you can see that they never aged. Eldar do be doing that.
That's for sure. And now we're on to question 18, which is possibly one of the most interesting ones, which is it's a total in a Total War Advisor twist. Who or what might secretly own the loyalty or even the soul of the advisor?
It's me, obviously. I own it. I call dibs. Slaanesh can't have it. And Slaanesh respects the rule of dibs.
Well, Slaanesh doesn't want to own the soul. Slaanesh wants to eat the soul.
Yeah, but I already called dibs.
Just saying.
Oh, man. A cabal of high-ranking Imperial officers, Inquisitors, Sector Lords, or Chapter Masters.
Okay, so in that, I would actually say for this one, that would be the Cabal. The Horus Heresy era Cabal would be interesting.
I can see that.
Yeah.
An unfathomable machine intelligence spanning multiple data vaults. I like that one, but it doesn't make too much sense for the Eldari. A warp patron, emperor, chaos god, or something claiming to be neither. It's Vashtor. It's Be'lakor. We got there in the end.
We did get there in the end. It's Be'lakor.
Turns
out there is a Lacrimole.
The other one is a Xenos power or a dynasty with very long-term plans. It's actually Trazine all along. Out of all of these, I mean, we know what the twist is going to be, and that's what sucks. We know that it's going to be like, haha, it's chaos the whole time.
Well, I mean, very likely. That is something that Games Workshop tends to go back to the well on a lot. And I will remind you that I was told this to my face many years ago, at least 15 years ago. And then double check. Would have been about 15 years ago. Yeah, that chaos is always the force behind all of the major events in Warhammer 40k. Like if you drill down, it always comes back to chaos. But that was under the old regime. So maybe the new regime, maybe there's a new way of doing things. So Orican Safe's coming. Warrington Crest, that's hilarious. I love that a lot.
One. That's a real good one. I like that.
Obviously, a Xenos power makes a lot of sense. Actually, Necrons could be behind it, as well as the Eldari, as well as lots of others.
Yeah.
Warp Patron also makes sense because Segarak is a god, so Segarak could do it. Working with an abominable intelligence would be interesting. The Cabal was actually technically destroyed, but that doesn't mean anything when you're talking about perpetuals and beings of such power that the Cabal could contain. So
also remember, this is 40k. Death is only permanent if the model doesn't sell.
Tycho, for example.
Tycho.
Yeah, Captain Tycho. Poor Captain Tycho.
What was it? The Dark Angel standard bearer.
Oh, Brother Bether.
Yeah. Brother
Bether, yeah. Man, that's a deep cut. That's old. Hopefully you guys cannot hear the crew working on my yard because they're mowing lawns out there. It's a little bit noisy to me, but I don't think it's coming through on the microphone. Let me know if it is.
It is a bit, but not terribly.
All right, cool. So 30 seconds left on that poll, guys. Go ahead and get your votes in while you can. We got 2 questions left. Two whole questions left.
And that's more than one.
And then we're just going to have to discuss like this advisor, figure out who they are, what their name is. I wish Remley's had been around to help us name it for sure.
Yeah.
Name them. I hope he feels better. I hope he's feeling better. It's a shame he could stay with us longer. But it does seem like seems like he's under the weather. All right, so we're going to close that poll here and see what the answer is. Looks like it's going to be not a tie. A Warp Patron. I'm going to assume Segarak in this case.
Same, to be honest. It's got to be Kikarath.
It doesn't have to be.
I mean, there is other Eldar gods at this point.
It could always
Watch
be the
it
Deceiver.
Be Isha.
It could always be the Deceiver posing as Segarak.
That is also true.
So that's why I put that in there as a possibility. All right, this is now a question. Oh wait, would be kind of cool. Ricky Chapman says if a Xenos was responsible, a Xenos power was responsible. Well, Xenos powers, obviously, we're talking about the Eldari in general here, but Necrons could be a part of it. Could be shaping it secretly, as well as, not Tyranids and probably not Orcs, and probably not Tau.
I would not rule out Orcs.
Okay.
As weird as it is to say, I would not rule them out.
I see where you're coming from, because you can have those weird mad boys or the occasional Orc who just has like extra crazy intelligence, like Archimedes. Or even Gazgul with his divine connection to Mork and Gork, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Quite possibly. He's the... So we got a comment here. It's the chosen avatar working under the guise of a Harlequin to help her. Isha's chosen avatar working under the guise of the Harlequin to help her children's. That would be interesting. I would love to see, like, that would establish some very interesting lore regarding Isha. That would establish some very interesting lore.
Yeah.
All right, so
let's had to answer something really quickly.
No problem. So question 19. If the player wins spectacularly, what does the advisor do?
Go like this. Woo! Turns into Moist Critical for a second.
Ric Flair.
Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Can you read off the options for me, please?
Okay, let me stop giggling for a second. All right. Whew, I am an adult. I can read this. Publicly credit the commander and fades into the background. A very Eldari, just be like, ooh, good job.
Well done, Commander.
Claims most of the credit in official records and reports. That is 100% what a rogue trader would do. Be like, yeah. Harvests the data, then moves on to the next testable elsewhere.
Testbed.
Yeah. Testbed.
So sorry. You know, it's like a laboratory, like something you would test things in.
That one feels Necron-y.
It like does. That one, these options were written to apply to a lot of different possibilities.
So I could see this working for Harlequins as well, because this could be just another dance in their story.
Right. And option D is that it reveals a twist. You have won the game, haha, but you failed to realize that it was actually me behind the scenes all along, which is literally what happens to Total War Warhammer 1.
Yeah. How serious do you want the answer? Not very. I mean, I'm hoping for cartoon villain and ending. Like, somehow the Harlequin is twisting their mustaches and, like, yeah.
Somehow Isha returned. Godzilla Rex says, I bring dire news. Okay. All right. I believe that's a comment or a line from the advisor, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry. What the hell is even that, Godzilla Rex?
Morning to Crescent, from most serious to least serious, analyzes your success to reinforce it, puts a twist in to reveal a new foe, or removes a piece of armor as encouragement. Wow. Okay. I have seen those video games before. Bush's Baked Beans is making apple pie flavored beans. Oh, wow.
Ew.
I kind of want to try that, actually. All right, 30 seconds left on the poll. Please go vote. We've gone through this pretty quickly. Like, this is one of our faster Let's Builds. I expected it to go slower.
I expected this to be about 2 hours because of our guest. So I always assume that our guests shorten our length.
Really?
Yes,
I assume that they make it longer.
I don't know why. I always assume that guests stay for 2 hours.
Huh. I mean, that's not a bad time frame in like real life if you have somebody over and after a couple hours, especially if you're from the Midwest, you do that thing where you slap your legs, you're like, well, and you get ready to stand up, and pretty soon that person is out the door.
So Icelandic people love just blatantly telling them things instead of like, because they will hang out until you ask them to leave. That is how they operate here. And one of my favorite things to say is just, okay, I'm going to go do other things. Can you leave? And it doesn't upset them at all. They just go, oh, okay.
Works in Germany as well. They're very good. They're fine with very blunt comments.
Mm-hmm.
Ice Veins, plot twist. The Eldar advisor is really just malice in disguise.
Oh my God.
Malal. Suddenly Malal. Thank you very much, Ice Veins.
Here's the thing about Warhammer Total War. They did bring an entire faction into the old world. like the old world tabletop game. They brought Cathay into like reality essentially, which is hilarious. There is the potential that Total War 40k does the same. And if that's going to be what they do, I really hope it's Dark Mechanicus or an actual Kroot army.
It's Dark Mechanicum, not Mechanicus.
Yeah, Dark Mechanicus.
Because they're from the schism on Mars before the Mechanicum became the Mechanicus in the first place.
You're a schism.
I know. I need to push up my glasses here because it is. I hate to be that guy, but it is Dark Mechanicum.
I need your glasses down just a little bit really quickly. And you have to say, well, actually.
Well, actually, excuse me. Clearly, the Mechanicus is a post-Horus development. I don't want to use that voice. It's horrible. Oh, my God.
The Mechanicus is after the Mechanicum. That's all you need to remember.
Give us Exodites, says Ricardo Andre.
Right.
And Dark Admech. Yeah, oh, God, wouldn't that be nice?
Oh my God, if they did that, I'd be so happy.
That's the kind of thing I think we should speculate on is like what would Total War 40k do for 40k that Total War Warhammer has done for Warhammer? Expand on the lore for various characters, especially minor characters.
Mm-hmm.
Give us numerous sub factions.
Yep.
Create whole new factions. Creating new factions. So Exodites are obviously high on the list. Dark Admech would be high on the list. What are some other factions they could create?
I think the Men of Iron could definitely be like. Here's the one thing that I used to think about a lot when I was growing into this game and everything. And in earlier editions, if the army wasn't big enough, like a galactic threat, it never was represented. But then that wasn't true because the Arbites had an army. The Genestealer cults have an army. The Genestealer cults are not a threat to the greater galaxy. They're a threat to their sector, and the Tyranids are the threat to the galaxy. But then there was the lull between like 5th and 7th edition, where it felt like the game stagnated the most. And there wasn't really any armies truly added to the game. Yes, Admech was finally added to the game, and Knights were added to the game. I'll give you those.
Skitarii, Votan.
Votan were added in 9th edition.
Okay, well, all right.
They existed, they died, they were written out of the lore, they came back. But Votan are a faction that only exists within a sector. Like, that's it. They are smaller than the Tau. Well, that's going to get me in the Great Book of Grudges. But they are a tiny empire. So if we could have the Leagues of Votan, we could definitely have like an expanded version of the Exodites. We could have expanded Harlequins bringing in their own unique war suits and things like that. Could be really fun. Maybe even the White Council would be pretty interesting.
Crud
would be kind of cool.
Enslavers.
I don't know if Enslavers could be a whole army.
I mean, I didn't think that the Vampire Coast could be a whole army, but they did it. So
that's fair, actually.
I'm going to have to bail for just a few minutes. Can you keep the thing going for me while I back off? All right.
Cool. I'm going to keep talking about random things that could be added into Total War, because that's what I'm going to do. Look at me. I'm right here. Going to talk about it. So the Ministorum, straight up, just the Ministorum, no Sisters of Battle, just the Ministorum. We could finally get flagellants, like the human flagellants, not the archoflagellants, onto the tabletop. That would be really, really cool. Space Whales, yes. Galactic data centers. Honestly, yeah, the Leagues of Votan are the data boys. I find that really funny. Hrud could be really cool. I think that could be a fascinating army. There was that one clone army from the Hammer and Bolter book. That could be interesting. Let's see. Let's see what this question is. Ricardo Andre, you always have good things to say. Honestly, what I'd love to hear. So what to look at the vault of the Crone Worlds? I mean, yeah, Crone Worlders could be really cool. I really think the Crone Worlds could be a really, really cool backdrop, if nothing else. like a whole Eldari mission of Corsairs assaulting. Give the Corsairs a full actual like fighting force. That could be really cool. I'm sure they have enough to like post up a military. I'd also like to see Catfolk. Well, boy, I could definitely see them bringing in Felinids into Kill Team, and maybe even bringing Felinids as advisors into the tabletop game. I don't know about in 40k though. That'd be or in Total War Warhammer, because they're not very numerous, but I could see it. Like they'd be super fast guardsmen. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Let's see.
I'm back.
Oh, welcome back,
Hey.
Space Crocodiles. I love that there is a crocodile species in Warhammer 40k that death rolls things into the warp. I think that is absolutely hilarious. That there is just a crocodile species that bites you and death rolls you and twists you into the warp. And it's like, okay, well, I'm gone forever. I hope this thing kills and eats my soul. Because otherwise I'm going to be demon food.
I think Exodites and Dark Admech are the top two possibilities for being developed into full factions, just because they've been around a really long time and we know a pretty good amount about them.
Arbites. Although technically, I will say this: Arbites are playable in 10th edition.
Right, Arbites. They have a kill team.
They have 3 different kill teams.
Three different kill teams.
Their kill team box has 3 different teams.
Okay.
Which is really cool. But I do want them to get their like judges and things like that, like their actual leaders, their own unique vehicle could be cool. Like give them the repressor.
They're going to need several. I think they don't have enough units yet, but this is one of the things that Total War can do is create new units and new, again, like you said, whole new factions can be spun up. So
the one that I want is Ministorum, not Sisters of Battle, just Ministorum, and it's not a army of men; it's just a crusade, so it's fine.
No, there's very strict. They fought a whole war about this. I don't know, maybe. Here's what I'm going to throw your way though: Kroot as a faction of their own.
Yeah, I already agreed on Kroot, like. Because you could have the new gorillas, you could have the dinosaurs, because their Great Narlocs operate as big cannons. That would be their anti-tank unit. I'm just hoping they bring in Titans. Like, I'd like to see the other Titans on the tabletop. I'd like to see the Warhounds with Ursa's Claws. That could be really cool.
You could do the Inari or the Corsairs and build those two out.
Yeah.
Because they have units that exist, but they could be expanded.
Oh, the Lost in the Dam.
Lost in the Dam, Blood Pact, even.
Yeah.
Or just Lost in the Dam with more Beastmen and mutants and Traitor Guard. That could be a pretty fun, and you could reuse a lot of assets that way, actually, from the existing Astra Militarum faction.
Oh my god, yes! Bring this thing to. I want this thing in 40k. The Direwolf Titan is so cool. It's such a cool Warhound. I love it.
And we've got Mornington Crescent coming in with the Chaos Cults. Give me Lost in the Dams. Yeah. Do you hear the voices too?
Witness your doom.
I kind of love that line. The way he shouted that one into the microphone is just amazing.
I actually anytime I used to play Grey Knights, they had the Vortex of Doom, and I would every time I did it, I was like, Vortex of Doom.
Yeah, is there any other missing factions from 40k that we have not talked about as possibilities for something to come back in Total War?
Men of Iron.
Men of Iron would be interesting. Men of Stone, if you're going to go there.
Imperial Navy could be really fun.
So Total War requires a lot of ground combat. That's the problem there.
Yeah, that's fine. You got your Navy breacher teams.
That's pretty much all they got.
Yep, that's all they need.
And again, this is by design. The Imperial Navy does not have ground forces because of the Horus Heresy. So, however, you could have a serious expansion for the Militarum that is mostly Imperial Navy assets like fighters, bombers, and all the Aeronautica stuff. Actually, you could have an Aeronautica faction if you brought in like the Elysian drop troops.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could have a sub faction of the Astra Militarum side that would have a strong Imperial Navy flavor to it.
I wonder how they're going to handle aircrafts.
I mean, it's good. I remember how Dawn of War did it. It wasn't too impressive.
No, it wasn't. They just floated.
They just were like little putt along.
Yeah.
Which was fine for like the hover tanks of the Tau, but
I'm kind of hoping they don't bring the aircraft in, and the aircraft are just abilities. Because that's honestly what aircraft should be in the tabletop game. Because the tabletop is not big enough to house aircraft.
Well, if you bring a Manta, that's literally a quarter of the table.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen one in real life. They're enormous.
Yep, I've seen several. It is weird. I've watched one fall on a table.
Ricky Chapman says a minor Xenos mercenaries army, like a Dogs of War army, yeah, would be amazing. Lacrimal spies, Shred elite mid-range, Locksaddle and Dog soldiers as close-range hybrid units. I agree. That would be awesome. But we haven't seen Dogs of War even in Total War Warhammer Fantasy. I feel like this would be very, very down the list. Okay, let me be clear. I'm not poo-pooing the idea. It's super cool. It just feels to me like this would be one of the, given how Total War Warhammer's handled things, it seems like this would be very, very, very far down the list. But it's a bummer though, because it's a great idea. I love the idea of it. A Chaos Cult versus Arbites DLCs is where you Crescent. Yeah,
I'm down for that.
Yeah, our building out the Arbites would be something I would really love to see.
The Arbites could also include, if you want to get technical, the Enforcers, because they're on the planet. They just take over the precincts and go, you're now working for us. We don't really need a lore explanation for that. They could just be like, we need more units, the Enforcers. Okay, now we have access to Psychers and things like that.
We need to do an episode. Let me make sure I've got that on the list for the Adeptus Arbites, because I think we do. But if we don't, it's really important to talk about them and the difference between them and Enforcers. Yeah, our Arbites are on the list. Okay, good. I'm not a crazy person. Yay!
Wow.
All right, are we ready for our final question?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Last question. If the sector falls, what is the advisor's final move? That's the question here.
Dies with the fleet, offering last rites or last condolences. Executes a pre-planned evacuation. This is Gore Guts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Scourged Earth Protocol. Yeah, that's Gore Guts. Disappears, leaving only corrupted logs and contradictory accounts. That's the Eldar one. Or joins and embodies the victors, appearing again in the next campaign. I could also see that too.
What is your favorite of these?
Honestly, it's a Scorched Earth Protocol. It's the Gore Guts. It's the boom. I planned for this.
By the way, that's literally Plan B, because that's the B option, which I've always liked. Plan B.
Yeah, we didn't even say custodians. Wow.
Well, custodians have a full army.
Yeah, they have a full army.
Exodites would just make me go nuts. I would lose my damn mind if they did Exodites. And that is possibly the oldest army in 40k that has never had a full army.
Yes.
And I would love to see it. That to me, that's the holy grail of Total War Warhammer 40k, would be a full Exodite army, legendary lords, legendary heroes, sub factions, dinosaurs, whatever else they could come up with. I mean, maybe they'll just reskin a bunch of lizardmen, and I would be okay with that.
The perfect way they could do it is they just release the dinosaur bird versus bird, and they release the Exodites alongside the crew. That would be the expansion pack, and I would pay money for that. I'd be like, I'm in.
Shut up and take my money territory right there. For if I got a full Kroot army and a full Exodite army, holy moly, I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my mind.
Like these are the DLCs that I see for this. One is Bird v Burb. Okay, simple, done. I'd buy that. The second one is Arbites versus Gene Stealer Cult. For some reason, that would harken back all the way to second edition, which is really, really cool. Let me just make sure no one's calling me real quick. Okay. There we go. The third one would be like Inquisition versus Chaos Cults. I think that's a given, right?
Spitfire says a birdemic, you say?
Yes.
Well, hey, you can make your own. Apparently, you can do your own custom Stage 3 chapter in Total War Warhammer 40k. So it would be really cool to see the Gorgon's Talons represented there. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It would be really cool. All right, let's give that poll another 30 seconds, and then we will cancel it. But how do you think Total War 40k handles custodians? I mean, they're an army. They would just be a very elite army. And
yeah,
I think you see this in Total War Warhammer with the Ogre Kingdoms are a good example of a very elite army with not a lot of models, with fewer models, but better models on the field. Technically, High Elves should also be this, but there's no representation of that in the game per se. Yeah, I think custodians would be just fine. I don't think you'd have to take any special steps really, except maybe slightly smaller unit sizes is really the only thing I think you'd need to do.
Yeah, like unit sizes of 3, as weird as that is to say.
I got to be honest, I would love to see a Total War Warhammer 40k that is actually Total War Warhammer 30k. I would love to see a Horus Heresy version, although I don't know if we'll ever see that, because God, that would be amazing. I'm
not going to lie with you. I am so sick of games set in 30k over 40k.
Really? That's a shame. Horus Heresy is such a great
epic.
Era.
I want epic, Legions Imperialis in 40k, goddammit. I'm so sick of that game just being, well, one side brings Astra Militarum, the other side brings Unpainted Space Marines, because it makes more sense to not paint your Space Marines, because then you can say they're any Legion. And it's, oh my God.
That sounds like a player problem rather than a game problem.
It's a game problem because I want to fight orcs. I want to fight Tyranids. I want the Tyranid Dominatrix back. Adeptus
Titanicus rulebook, says Mornica Crescent. Give me this. You want Adeptus Titanicus as a Total War game? I mean, if we get Titans and Knights into the game, that would be pretty cool. And if they could be their own faction, that would be even cooler. Although difficult, I guess would be I think the difficulty goes up if you're trying to make them their own faction. It's probably far more likely that there'll be add-ons for Chaos and Imperium and Eldari and Orcs than anything else. Tyranids too, they have Bio Titans. Tau have Titans. Who doesn't have Titans? Votan. I think it's probably the only ones that don't have Titans.
Votan do have super units though.
Do they? Okay.
They have the Land Train, the Ordinatuses.
Ordinatus.
Yeah, because they also have the Ordinatus.
Probably Leviathan, I think is what you're thinking of, but
the Leviathan also is theirs. They have an even bigger Leviathan, which is weird. Why would you make
Citadel
anything?
Imperialis is I think what they have another name for it. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, so let's see what chat has to say. What happens to the advisor at the end when the sector falls? If the sector falls, pre-planned evacuation is the answer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Also, I could definitely see Knights actually being their own army. But I see them more as the Knights where they have Skitarii allies. So the Skitarii make up their troops, and the knights are the main focus of the army. So you have the Armigers, you have the standard knight chassis, you have the Cerasus knight chassis, you have the Strix chassis. You get all the cool chassis and everything, and they're just running around and everything. But I could definitely see that. I could see that as a full army. It'd be very hard to beat, but there wouldn't be too many of them. But it would be a lot of fun to put giant robots in the damn game. That and Titans.
So Night Houses can and do ally with the Mechanicus cohorts of Skitarii or Sekitari, but they also can fight alongside Imperial Guard just fine. There is some lore to suggest that there are men-at-arms and serfs in the household that when they're defending their homeworld, they'll come out and fight as ground infantry.
I want, just give me this. You see this right here? The horses? Give me this in Imperial Knights. Give me knights in knights.
Wait, you want an Imperial Knight riding a horse?
No, I want the main troop choice of the Imperial Knights, the humans that are on foot, to be mounted on horses.
The men-at-arms or the serfs, okay.
Because they're knights.
Okay. Well, they're tiny knights. They're kind of a knight. That could be interesting.
Because that can also bring in heavy power armor into the tabletop game.
Yeah, the idea of household troops for the Night Houses is a thing that has been talked about in the lore, but it's been backgrounded, it's been marginalized.
Or just give them the Crusaders.
Crusaders are Ministorum.
I know, but that's
they're
not,
but they're not aligned with the Night Houses because the Night Houses are either aligned with.
I mean that unit type. Scrub the name, call it something different, but sword and board dudes just running up the field. Give me that. I want my dudes. I just want my human dudes, and I want my tech priests to come and heal my knights. Okay. That's what I want.
Okay. We need to come up with a name for our Harlequin.
Harleen Quinzel.
No, Eldari names.
Oh yeah.
Harlina
Quinzella.
It could be a simple title, or it could be an actual name. Like a title might be something like Mask Without Mirth, or the Last Jest, Billy the Harlequin.
I still think my favorite nickname for anything is Billy the Nid, the Gene Stealer cultist with the 3 pistols. But all right, so for a name, I'm not good at Eldari names. They all have like weird names, and they don't really follow a pattern, which is kind of a shame.
Do we want to leave this nameless? Because the advisor or the outcast are both perfectly good. A title is better than I think a name.
Yeah, kind of. It kind of just is.
All right, I think the what this character goes by is something like the Outcast, and maybe leave it at that, because the Outcast could actually be a role you play in a Harlequin production, right? Like in one of their troop performances, the Outcast could actually be just a role that they play. It is a title that is suggestive of who they are, but also could hint that they're playing a deeper game. The Guide. Oh, Morning Crescent says The Guide. The Guide is good. I like that one too.
The book, is it Outcast Lost?
The Outcast Dead?
Outcast Dead, that's it.
That's the one where...
That was going through my brain.
That's the one where it's a horse searching novel. They have a prison break on Terra, and a bunch of the hosts, I forget the name of the host, but it's the representatives of all the legions that are on Terra. They break out of prison. And that's also where we get a weird moment where an unarmored space marine kills a couple of custodes, which is very strange and
yeah, again,
shouldn't be possible.
Isn't that also made around the same time that custodians were still in that period where they were still being.
I don't think so. I think custodians were out by then.
Oh, that's even dumber.
I think.
Like,
someone would have to check the dates to be sure. I don't know for sure.
The Galv Warback killing in the first Heretic. The Galv Warback killing the. I think it's the first Heretic. I could be wrong. My apologies if I am. But the Galv Warback killing 6 or 7 custodians. Teehee 6-7 meme. That was made in the transitional phase from custodians being like, the half-naked men finally getting their armor on, but they weren't like the hyper elite of the God Emperor's personal bodyguard that can slay 1 billion Space Marines by themselves.
So first Heretic was 2010. Outcast Dead was 2011.
Okay, so it had to be before then.
So the modern plastic range was first presented in the Burning of Prospero in 2016.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the time span is about right then.
We've had custodians for 10 years.
Damn.
As a standalone 40k army, 2018.
Damn. It took them 10 years to transition the custodians into women. Somebody is going to think I'm serious about that. I am joking. That is a joke.
So let's tie this all together. What are some ways we could tie together all these options? Can you think of? Are you starting to create a mental image of this advisor from the options that we've given so far?
Well, okay. Yes, I 100% am. But I don't want to tell you because it's spoilers.
It's fine.
There is a character in Rogue Trader that this character reminds me of. Very much so. Including the fact that they warn you about every bad decision you're making.
Mm.
And it's very much a really cool character. But it's also reminding me of the Eldari that deal with the Imperium, the ones that make the deals. Very much coming in as a mediary, being like, hey, we know you're Imperial, but you're going to listen to us for once. It reminds me of Maka, as weird as that is to say. How Maka talked to what's his name?
Gabriel Angelos.
Chapter master of the Blood Ravens.
Space Marines for the Emperor.
Space Marines. Today the Emperor is a door. Nothing will ever beat those stupid little skits.
So we've got they're silken and conspiratorial. They speak in hints or double meanings. They pivot to surprising new vectors if a plan's not working, and they get passive aggressive and irritated when they get ignored. It's very tsundere in some ways. I don't mind that. Honestly, it's a little bit tropey. I could certainly see. I mean, if Total War 40k was an anime, I know exactly which character this would be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They like to see Imperial factions as useful tools. They prefer a style of war that is essentially controlled chaos. And they justify extreme measures as often as they can. So, they have vivid prophecies that come true. And they serve a mysterious great design.
They're actually a lizard in disguise.
Well, the major plot twist could be that they're not actually a Harlequin, but in fact a Cryptek using a holographic mask of some kind, or a fragment of the Deceiver. Either one of those two would be pretty great. Or that they're working for, because they secretly are loyal to a warp patron who is either Segarak or someone posing as Segarak.
I do like that.
Ricky Chapman, to be fair, the custodians killed all the original Galv Warback except Tal in the first Heretic.
Yeah, that is true.
Argyltal, one of the Crimson Kings, I believe. Argyltal has at least one title.
I still find it super funny that a Galv Warback died to just this nameless Space Marine captain, but yet killed a custodian.
The Crimson Lord, they called him. The Crimson Lord, which is almost a Crimson King.
This is also why I say don't power scale 40k, because there are a lot of stupid things in 40k.
All right, so if you had to pick a major plot twist, because when the player wins, we reveal a major plot twist.
Oh no, it was actually a demon all along. It was the mask disguised as the changeling who was actually Fred.
We did do that in Total War first. The Total Warhammer's already done that. What are some plot twists that you think would be really interesting at the end of the campaign?
The dumbest one would be like Gabriel Angelos waking up in a bed and be like, oh, I dreamed I was in the wrong genre.
Well, the Blood Ravens are going to be part of this, as well as the Lion, I believe.
No,
that's Dawn of War 4.
4.
Yeah, that's Dawn of War 4. Never mind. It's not the Lion. And the Blood Ravens are actually not part of this. Well, I guess I presume you can customize your chapter, but I think it's the Ultramarines right off the bat.
Yeah, I think it's the Ultras, and we might get Gilliman in this one, which could be cool. But I think the plot twist is going to be like, oh, your advisor goes down to the planet, and then all of a sudden there's a giant demon frozen up to his crotch in the ice.
No,
since that was the plot twist in 2 Dawn of War games.
But I'm talking about Total War 40k. So this is a new game.
Know.
So for a new game, and I'm looking for a serious answer.
Okay,
what do you think would be a good plot twist for this? Because people love Total War Warhammer. You have no idea.
So, an actual solid, real plot twist would be that it wasn't the Deceiver, but it was the Nightbringer, bringing as much death and destruction to all that wronged him.
So it's a Harlequin that serves, an outcast Harlequin serving the Nightbringer. That would be a hell of a twist.
Yes.
That would be a hell of a twist. Kind of like that one. I'm going to write that one down as a possibility.
Now, that is because it makes sense with all of the incredible amounts of death and destruction that comes along with this. It could also be I think the easiest one is the person falls to Slaanesh. Like Slaanesh has tricked them this entire time. It has been a solid dance around the entire universe, and the ultimate victory is that Slaanesh sacrifices a bunch of worlds, or it turns out to be the mask, and the mask sacrifices the sector that you're in.
Okay, so that's an option. Is that the ultimate victory is a chaos god, maybe Slaanesh, who gets everything that they want out of it.
Yeah, they manipulated this Eldar in order to help the main character, your faction, win. But overall, all of the sacrifices equal up to a total of the legendary number of the Chaos Gods, which is 666, 777, 888, 999. Those types of things. And ultimately, that is what sacrifices the whole sector to Slaanesh, or brings it into the warp. It could also be that it gets swallowed by the Cicatrix Maledictum, pulled into the warp. The other that I could see is a plot twist that is actually a twist because it's not a twist, and it is an actual Eldar trying to help you. Which, if you're an Imperial, is a plot twist because they never help. They are actually trying their best to save you, and in their last desperate gambit to save the sector, you kill them thinking they're heretical, only for them to be correct and you damn the universe, or damn that sector. Because I assume this is going to be played in a rather large sector of space.
Yeah, there's supposed to be multiple planets that you can go to.
Yeah.
We have an interesting comment from Mornington Crescent who says that the outcast Harlequin sounds like a Drukhari who joined the Harlequins. It does. It definitely does sound a little more darker than your usual Eldari nonsense. So these are pretty good. These are pretty good plot twists. Is anybody in chat? If you want to come up with something else, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to try and set up a poll to see what the chat thinks would be a really good plot twist here. So I'm going to go build that. But why don't you talk about what is your favorite plot twist, Alexis, and why?
Okay. So my favorite one is actually the Eldari trying to help. It's an Eldred situation where Eldred is trying his best to do everything correctly, and everyone is messing him up. And it's causing like these great ripples. It's causing the Cicatrix Maledictum to expand when all they're actually trying to do is not be evil. And in doing so, lead to something that is ultimately more evil than anything they could possibly ever wanted. Because 40k can't have a good ending. It can only have war. And that's all that 40k is. It's an endless stream of everyone worshiping the concept of war because there is no getting along. There is no peace. There is no one surviving. There is only war. And I think it would capture the essence of Warhammer perfectly.
Ice Vein says it was Be'lakor all along.
I could
How did we miss
definitely
this?
see it.
We need a plot twist that links back to the War in Heaven.
Oh yeah. This was all seen by a frog in space, so he decided not to give the zombies chemotherapy.
Oh man, they were not zombies. They were definitely cancer patients. I like when you say cancer patients.
Cancer patients.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were definitely not, basically rotting corpses.
Well, I mean, they were definitely deteriorating. We know so little about the Necrontyr, but it would be interesting to find out like more about them. Martin Crescent says a gene stealer cult mutation infiltrating his advisors.
So plot twist.
That's actually not a bad one. Is that the Harlequin's like, surprise? I'm actually a gene stealer, and the Tyranids are coming. They'll be here shortly.
You need to play. You need to play Rogue Trader.
I will. I just need stuff squared away first.
I know, but there are so many things that are being said here that are just like, this part of the game. Is
there a Gene Stealer cult surprise?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it is one of the DLCs, so it's not really a surprise.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's exciting. 30 seconds on the poll, guys, so get your votes in.
It's with the Death Cult Assassin as well. Like the Death Cults are on the ship, and it's really, really cool. I love the Death Cults. They went so in depth on the Death Cults, and I absolutely love them.
That's one of my favorite things in 40k is the Death Cults and the Death Cult Assassins.
I think my favorite thing is what the Eldar say about the Death Cultists dancing around the battlefield, and they're like, "It's a mockery of me," and then the Drukhari's just like, "This bitch is awesome."
Chad has decided that there is no twist. The Harlequin is sincere.
See, I like it because the Eldar is trying, but no one in the Imperium could ever trust an Eldar.
So in that case, I think so you talked about the advisor being possibly having their loyalty to Isha rather than Segarak, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would that work? Why don't you lay that out for me? Because that's very unusual.
So a Harlequin is typically loyal to Kigarath.
Mm-hmm. They literally are his people. Yes.
Yes. But what is Kigarath except, a giant, like he's in it for the game. Like he wants his people to experience things so that he can watch the great play as well. He is as much part of them as they are part of the universe. So what's a better way of expanding the great play than to get back one of the players? One of the major players being Isha. Now, currently, we don't know where or what is happening with Isha. There's a good chance that the Emperor cooked her alive when he stepped on Nurgle's garden.
I sincerely doubt that.
Oh, yeah, 100% doubt it.
Sincerely doubt that.
But that would be hilarious. But then again, it is Isha, so if she died, she might actually just get reborn.
Well, there is a theory that the Eldari gods could be reborn in mortal form, that they could reincarnate, because that's how Eldari souls used to work
Yeah.
pre-fall of the Eldar. And the gods are obviously not typical Eldari souls and all that, but this gets very metaphysical. But I will go out on a limb and say it's definitely possible for Eldari gods to be reincarnated. It seems like a thing that, let me rephrase. Saying it's possible is saying that it's definitively could happen. It's plausible. I would accept it if Games Workshop were to write, and then Assyrian was reincarnated into this guy. I'd be like, okay, well that's plausible. That makes a certain amount of sense.
You know what they could do with Isha?
Mm.
They could have the Emperor kill her. Okay, like when he stepped up upon Nurgle's planet, destroyed his cauldron, and burned half his garden, and Nurgle hid like a baby in his building. Okay, have him kill Isha in that moment. Okay, only for Isha to get reincarnated as the brand new character that leads the Exodites.
Oh, now we're talking.
Because that's where the world tree is.
Okay. Well, it's a representation, I suppose, of it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you could argue that killing Isha, quote unquote, is a way of freeing her in that paradigm.
So now, similar to Assyrian, we now have Ishurian, whatever, Eldari name, but it's Isha as a Phoenix Lord that leads the Exodites, because that's the path of the Exodite.
Well, remember, paths are an Assyriani thing. They are not observed by the other factions.
Yeah.
I mean, the Corsairs are aware of it, and the Drukhari are aware of it, and the Harlequins are aware of it, and I guess you could argue that they follow a similar, like at least the ideology is not too dissimilar. But path, the specific phrasing of path, that's a craft world thing. Yeah. However, I really like the idea that Isha is the patron deity of the Exodites, like Segarak is the patron deity of the Harlequins, and Cain is the patron deity of the craft worlders. Mm-hmm. That's actually fascinating, and in that paradigm, like that would be really interesting to have a character who's not unlike Yvraine, some kind of legendary lord for the Exodites, who is a priestess, quote unquote, of Isha, a divine, not an avatar, because that's a different thing, but a cleric. Well, what is Yvraine for Ennead, right? Emissary, right? So you need somebody like that. You would need someone like that is the representation of Isha's faith for the Exodites, and that would be fascinating and really interesting. And I love the idea of tying the world tree into the world spirits. This we should get Vera in on this and have a conversation about how Isha could return as an Exodite. This is a what if. We're postulating a what if right now.
Now, I could add more to this. Lehman Russ is the one that delivers the body to the Exodites. Because he knows that she's the only one that could heal the Emperor. That's
fascinating. I have added this. Theories. I have added this to the what if list. So if when we do a what if, this will be now on the possibilities of things that we get into, because this is worth discussing at length. But I love the idea of her as the patron of the Exodites and tying that all together. There's some really good lore there.
Because how I would implement it in Total War is that once she comes back, all the Exodites start unifying, and that's where the army of Exodites comes from. Holy cow, it's a victor.
So I think I'm going to pull the we have successfully built our advisor. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pull down the document, but I will make sure that this is available to. I guess I could send the PDF to Lord Vorn, and he can make sure you guys get a hold of it. Lord Vorn, let me know if that'll work. But yeah, I think, God, that's fascinating. What if? And I like that the advisor for Total War is leading us in these different directions, because we first start out with like, well, could it be a Harlequin, and then what about Exodites as a whole faction, and then I mean we kind of built on these things brick by brick. Fascinating stuff. Crud could be a faction, or like one of the other posters said, you could have a all minor Xenos together in one spot group as mercenaries, which would be pretty rad. Again,
I think
unlikely, but rad.
I think that gets just added. Oh, sorry. That just gets added to Tau.
No, no. What? Okay, so you could have a Tau auxiliary subfaction. You absolutely could.
Yeah,
and it could be Guevesala, which is humans that work for the Tau. It could be, Kroot and Vespid and what's their other one?
because like I would throw random shit in there. Like I would throw the Zotes.
Vespid. I think there's at least one other for all maybe, but the problem there is that there's not enough auxiliaries to be more than a little bit of an add-on. Whereas if you took all the mercenary minor Xenos factions, like the Loxodal, like the Lacrimol, like the Crud, or the Slouth, whatever, any of those minor subfactions, there's enough of them to make a whole army. Back in the day, they had this book for Warhammer Fantasy called Dogs of War, which was all just about all these weird mercenary forces you could hire for your individual army, but you could also make an army just out of the Dogs of War if you really wanted to, a mercenary army. And people have been asking for this in Total War basically forever. the idea of it, we want a Dogs of War faction has been strong. I have to assume Games Workshop just isn't into it. Nisasar, yeah, thank you. The Nisasar are also a allied faction, and so are the Demiurge to the Tau, although they may actually just end up being Votan.
So we might have found out what the Demiurge are. They're the strategist for the kin. That's why they're almost entirely mechanical, because it is just it's just an Ironkin. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. We know what some of their spaceships look like now, which is pretty cool.
Is there other factions besides the Exodites that you'd like to see explored more? If Total War 40k gets off the ground and does as well as Total War Warhammer, which I assume it will, and has options to bring in things that we haven't seen before, Dark Mechanicum, is that one that you would really like to see, or do you have something else you'd like to touch on?
Dark Mechanicum is 100% on the list. I think we named all the big ones. I just want to make sure Genestealer Cult is represented, because games tend to forget that they exist for some reason.
And they have a full army.
I want Inquisition definitely represented.
Imperial Agents,
yeah. So like you could get then the Rogue Traders and things like that, because Rogue Traders have brought armies to bear, and it's 40k. They whatever. We could justify it any way we want. We'll write a book where 3 Space Marines take down an entire planet for some reason and call it Apocalypse. That happened. I hate that book. The book was terrible.
I just looked for Demiurge. I couldn't find anything about them more recently.
No, it's just hinted at in the strategist's lore.
Okay. Well, we do know
they broker deals with the Tau.
They use ion-based weaponry. They have adapted mining lasers, and their attack craft are repurposed automated mining machines. You know that. So they like to mine the rock in space, the deep rock in the galaxy, if you will. They like to mine it.
Rock galactic.
They like to diggy hole in some deep rocks.
Who doesn't like the diggy hole?
Yeah. I do love the idea of a mercenary faction of some kind. That would be really, really cool. Because you could build in all those really weird edge cases like Blood Axe squads and Kroot and Crud, and what the hell, you could throw in some Amble or space vampires if you really wanted to.
Yep. Ambles. Let's throw the Jacaro in there.
Oh, here's an idea. I would love to see a Drukhari subfaction that is all just the weird aliens and critters. You know, the Claude Fiends, the fucking Chimeras,
Oh yeah, that could be fun.
Medusae, all of that shit. You know, that would be Slith.
Slith could be really cool because we know that Slith are smart enough to wield weaponry.
Unlike the Claude Fiend or the Chimeras.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to go real crazy, we could have a battle on the Blackstone Fortress. Like it's one of the arenas. That could be
that
really
would be cool.
fun.
Yeah. Involving the Blackstone Fortresses would be interesting. Jacaros is Morty Crescent. Jacaro faction? I don't think so.
The dog soldiers could be a whole army.
Tyrellians, you could basically pick any minor xenospecies and probably flesh them out. Because this is what Total War Warhammer did with the Morty Crescent says deploy the barrel of monkeys. But this is what Total War Warhammer did with the Norskins. So for a very, very, very long time, Norskins was just another way to say Chaos Warriors. It was literally just they're the Chaos guys from up north, you know. And Creative Assembly, when they were working on a Norskin DLC, they were like, "Hey, can we just build these out with stuff that we know they have from the lore, like the skin changers and the mammoths, and you know, bring in stuff like the Femir, because the Femir had not been introduced until they were introduced as part of the faction for Norska." And that was fascinating to me. That was definitely like, oh wow, Games Workshop's letting these people, you know, really dive in. It's rare for Games Workshop to allow anybody to define part of their universes, but of course, you know, Warhammer Fantasy is kind of the redheaded stepchild. It's already been destroyed once, and I imagine Games Workshop was like, "What do we have to lose? Let's just let these creative guys go nuts and see what they come up with. We can always say no." And apparently, they liked what they saw, and this is where we get, you know, Cathay and the Vampire Coast, and just all of these things that hadn't existed in the lore previously were suddenly in the game. They were full on visual units that you could move around and include in your army.
How could I forget this? We need the Grot Rebel Army.
Rebel Grots. Well, we talked about these. We Grot tanks and Killicans. Like, yeah, there would be a Grot Rebel army would be fun. Yeah, I'm down. I would like to see that too. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing, but it's definitely something I'm interested in.
I'm checking the list of minor Xenos races that I think could be like actual threats in like for wars. Let's see.
Yeah, the thing is that most of these guys are not like massive empires. They were at one time maybe, but they've been destroyed or broken down by usually the Imperium. Not always, but usually the Imperium, and reduced to the status of a minor power at best. That being said, even if you, for example, look at the Enslavers, their role in the lore is quite possibly huge.
Yeah, and they only have a sentence of lore.
The Enslavers have very little lore, but it would be like if somebody wanted to take the concept of like, hey, let's do an army of the Enslavers, I would be down for that. I'd really like to see how that is developed and how that works. This is the thing that's really exciting about Total War Warhammer 40k. Not only do you get to play Total War with your 40k armies, that is really fun, but also the possibilities that it opens up because of what has been done with Total War Warhammer, reintroducing people to some very obscure aspects of Warhammer lore. Now we get to have that potential if Total War Warhammer 40k does very well, which again, I don't see it not doing very well. So
unless it comes out and sucks, which I heavily doubt.
I mean, that's possible. never discount the possibility that the new game could suck. I've been there before. Gotham Knights burned me real bad on that one.
Oh my god, yeah.
I wanted to love that game so much.
That killed all enthusiasm for the Batman games.
That and Kill the Justice League was just god awful.
Yeah, I don't count that one at all.
Good. You absolutely should. At least Gotham Knights was playable and fun. It just wasn't very good.
I will go on a ledge here and say that Injustice: Gods Among Us was also a bad game.
Okay, it doesn't seem to be quite as infamous, I would argue, but
No, it's not as infamous, but it's still a bad game.
the Red Gobbo, and the Rebel Grots would be a really fun faction to get involved in, though. Especially nowadays, I think it's very timely to see a revolution.
I mean,
would be kind of fun.
one of the craziest things that I would love to see, it won't happen, but I would love to see it, is a Necromunda army where
Never
it's just
happened.
all the factions of Necromunda. It'd be super cool. It won't happen, but it would be so cool to have like the Escher jet bikes riding around, all the different bikes and cars and everything, and they all just have really low health, and there's just hundreds of them.
All right, I'll say this: I was that guy who came out and said there will never be a Cathay army ever. Right? I said that. I said I said that they'll never explore Ind, they'll never explore Nippon, they'll never explore Cathay, and I've been proven wrong. Total War Warhammer proved me wrong on all of those counts. So I'm like, okay, maybe even though I say it'll never happen that there'll be an Necromunda army, I wouldn't bet on it. Let's put it that way. But I think it's certainly way more possible now than it's ever been.
Yeah. Although, do you know what I really want? You know how they introduced furries to Total War Warhammer?
Dragon Magic says, "Get wrecked, Ross."
But jokes aside, they introduced the tiger people to
the Tiger Man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want them to do a 1-for-1 trailer, the exact same trailer with a felinid.
Cat Girls Arcane.
Just no differences. It's just the exact same model.
Felonids for 40k.
And it just has like where it has its army like badge, it just has like a duct taped on Imperial Aquila.
Why a duck? I don't get that. But
no, duct taped.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like it's
not a literal duck. Okay.
No, it's the same trailer, except they just slap on the Aquila across the thing's chest, and they're just like, it's the yep, you wanted this.
Here's another thought. I have been on record as not enjoying the HUD, at least as it's currently presented in 40k. I think Creative Assembly could do something really interesting and fun with the HUD.
You know what they could do? They could bring the Death Wheel to the HUD. The weird, wacky thing from Epic, that wheel that looks... It's basically the Skaven's Death Wheel in 40k, and it's one of the weird chaos engines of old. They could give that to the HUD and make it like an aging beam. Because the HUD's technology is chrono-based, which is really cool.
According to some lore, yes.
Yeah. So again, I think they have to give them like the wildest shit out of left field. Like give them the weird things. That's exactly what I want with when they do the World Eaters army. I want them to give them all the chaos engines that they have. Like I want the weird brass scorpion, the smaller version of the brass scorpion. I want the sinister engines. I want the little bladed guy that runs at you. I want all of their random like demon engines because I think they're really cool.
Oh, a full-on Arcaphane army. A full-on Arcaphane army would be pretty neat.
And a Be'lakor army.
I doubt that. Be'lakor, nobody loves him is the problem. But Vashtor's got promise. I think you could do a Vashtor subfaction for Chaos that would be all of those things you just said, all of the demon engines forever, which would be pretty neat. And it would add to his lore, right? It would give him something more interesting to talk about with him. Anyway.
Also, the newest book came out for what is it? Imperial Maledictum. And Vashtor is the enemy of it. And the cowards did not stat Vashtor. Technically, you don't fight him in the story, but still, I was like, man, give me a stat block. Make him invincible.
That is a bummer. But I would need to say now, if you have enjoyed this deep dive into the Grim Darkness of the Far Future, do us a favor. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Help the algorithm spread our heresy to other minds out there through the internet. And we've enjoyed speaking with you guys today. We're going to be back for Lorebeards 40k on Saturday. The topic, you can go vote on that right now on YouTube if you want to.
I do want to give a special thank you, even though he's not here, to Remlays for joining us in this episode. He joined us for a solid 2 hours, just about. So it was awesome having him. It was awesome catching up with Remlays. He's a really good friend of mine, and I absolutely love him. But
Big
yeah,
thanks to Remleys. Appreciate you.
and just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future,
There is only lore. See you guys
Okay.
next time.
Thanks for watching. Okay, love you guys.